Hello, Battlerite fans, and welcome to Battlerite Asia number 4. I'm your host, Dominic, and we have a couple good teams and about a dozen teams going up at it for this prize of $45 per person and a few chests in-game. So we are going to be starting out with a match between TKSS and Beep Beep Lettuce. They're going to be playing a Rygon on both sides, a Rygon Jade and Blossom versus an Esmo Sirius Rygon, and that is going to be on Dragon Garden Knight. So Rygon, not a hero we've been seeing a whole lot in North America. And for those of you, I'm going to be tailoring a lot of stuff to North America because I have been mainly casting North American Battlerite, and being this is the English language stream, I figure a lot of people watching will be people familiar with the North American scene. So in that respect, I will be discussing that. And yeah, Rygon's not super popular right now. So it'll be interesting to see how he's played here. Anyway, for those of you also not familiar, TKSS is Airclav, The Quiet Earth, and Rokiel versus Beep Beep Lettuce. Beep Beep Lettuce is formed of Clean Freak, Awagel, and Charon. Probably Charon. Probably not Karen. So we are going to be getting to that as soon as Airclav gets ready. We will have that once that's done. I'm not sure what happened. I think they... Okay, well, at any rate, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here because, like I said, Rygon is they're a character that's able to defend quite effectively. They're able to peel fairly effectively. They're able to block, especially when you consider that we have a Blossom on one side and Esmo on the other. So we have people who have a bit of a harder time if they are getting focused down, which Rygon can help take care of. On the other hand, though, with Awagel as Sirius, it does appear that we're going to see Beep Beep Lettuce pushing extremely aggressively. That Esmo's not going to have to worry about anything. They have two frontliners stopping them from doing anything. And okay, I was a bit off with the peel comment, but my point stands, though. They get in the way, they block stuff off, they can Dragon Palm. However, for those of you who are laughing at the fact that I said peel, that's why I'm pretty sure we haven't seen a lot of Rygon recently. Like, they haven't really shown... I haven't really shown what I'd say is necessary to be prominent in Battlerite. They haven't been as effective as like Bako or Rook. Like, that's what we see a lot these days. Characters who can more effectively actually get in the way of opponents and shield their teammates and do other things like that to actually keep the game in a reasonably good state for their team. Whereas with Rygon, well, it's going to be certainly interesting for TKSS how they actually maintain the front line, considering that their opponents are going to be rushing them down hard. And Ura is coming in, and Waggle going already around the back, actually separating from Charon, surprisingly, while at the same time, a bit of a dive coming in to secure a bit of position from Airclav, which seemed to have worked reasonably well, at least as far as distracting their opponents, but it's not actually managing to maintain center control effectively. That's still contested, but it will end up being taken by Beep Beep Lettuce. They do get the first orb, and with this point, Charon is doing a great job putting all the pressure in the world on Rokiel, which should be enough to at least pull back their Rygon. Airclav getting back in there to do what they can, but it's still working out all right. Charon is taking a lot more damage. Quiet Earth has been doing a fine job, not as much protecting their teammate, but at the very least punishing their opponent for being as aggressive as they are. And Charon, they are about to go down. Is this going to be it for them? It looks like it might be, but at the cost of Rokiel's life, potentially, or the cost of their own. Airclav taking them out at the end, not going down to the Astral Beam in the process. The cross-kill opportunity, however, on Rokiel is taken, and that is going to be a slight advantage for Beep Beep Lettuce. They do have their healer up, and Angel is up, but that is still an easy focus opportunity. At the same time, though, the focus is right now going to be on Clean Freak. No surprises there. The counter is, well, popped. But I say it's up, but it is in fact popped, and that is going to be great for Awagel, not great for anybody else. So at this point, Clean Freak, they should be able to get away from here. They should be able to get back to their team, and they're not. Airclav doing a fine job separating. Rygon may not be great at peel, but they are certainly great at separation. At this point, it should, in theory, be game for Beep Beep Lettuce. That Petrify is going to have done it. That is totally going to do it. The thing is, with attrition and no healers, there's no easy way for TKSS to pull back in here. I admire their spirit. I admire their resolve. I admire the fact that they actually have managed to get a kill, but unless they can turn this stun and stun combo into a win, they don't have this. But it is a 2v1. Awagel does still have to win 2 fights, or win against 2 players at once, and they do both have stun potential. Just a question of what happens. And now that Tectonic Strike has been used, that stun potential is partially gone. The parry managing to find a little bit of stun, but no snipe yet. It is possible, and there it comes. The counter was down. It will be up in a couple seconds. But for now, it is down. And there it is. One more counter will be popped. There is the counter. It's not popped. And a Waggle, they're looking to throw in the towel. They have one more ult left. That Astral Beam does not find anything it needs. And TKSS pulling it back. So right off the bat, TKSS taking that in a hard-fought round. But they still managed to get the advantage. And they were the ones I wasn't so sure about because they don't have a stronger front line. Still, though, we saw there that so long as Airclav can disrupt their opponents reasonably well, it's fine. It's good enough. More importantly, I noticed that Sharon, they were going forward, and the Quiet Earth was punishing them for that. That was the biggest thing. Quiet Earth and Rashiel were making Sharon's life very difficult. And if they can continue doing that, then I would expect Sharon will be playing a bit more defensive, and that'll give all the room in the world for TKSS to hold center and take orb. And that's exactly what Airclav is banking on. Sharon's still in the back lines, but they are not finding a huge amount of mileage. Going after the Quiet Earth, who can take care of themselves, no problem, Jade being Jade. But they're not going for Rashiel, so the healer is perfectly fine. Sharon, on the other hand, needing that orb to maintain any HP, and that may not last too long either at a quarter HP. At the same time, the focus, well, it's briefly switched over. As long as Sharon is nearby, that's going to be the main focus, but that could actually be a major mistake. Waggle getting into the Celestial Split, finding a bit of mileage, but it's healed up, and that is Sharon down. And with a much stronger position for TKSS, there should not be a close match. A Waggle going down next. Ooh, nice counter. Not enough to survive, but still, well-timed. But that is Waggle down, that is Clean Freak down. That is another round where we see TKSS on the aggression, and we see TKSS's aggression really paying off. Last round, they couldn't quite find as much success, but this round it's clear that they managed to scare Charon just enough. And they managed to scare the rest of the team for sure just enough. Charon still went forward, but a Waggle was way in the back, and that's exactly what TKSS wanted. So, well done, TKSS. 3 more rounds like that, they've got this, but I'm really curious what adaptation we're going to see from BP Plsh. Bearing in mind, this is a one-map game, so as soon as anyone's done, as soon as we get those 5 wins, the losing team goes down to the lower bracket, and, well, the winning team continues along in the tournament. At this point, though, it does seem like TKSS does have a momentum advantage. Curiously, Airclub going around the side, being extremely aggressive to try to get rid of Clean Freak off the bat. And that is leaving Charon a lot of room to get in. That's leaving Rashiel to get hit by a snipe, but ultimately not dealing much permanent damage. Thankfully, they managed to heal themselves in time. But the orb, again, for the 3rd time in a row. First orb going to BP Plsh, and BP Plsh should be able to maintain a reasonably good control over the center, especially with the split they've got in Rashiel. Charon's pressure is doing a fine job maintaining that, especially after the Petrify. Thanks, a Waggle. You got that nice Lunar Strike. But even then, it's still not enough. The HP advantage strongly in TKSS's favor, and Charon again forward with no escapes, completely torn apart. They had no parry or anything to stop them from being ripped to shreds, and while the orb has been taken again, and the cross-kill on Airclav is theoretically possible, this 2v3 is not likely to go in BP Plsh's favor. The one last ditch, the ult does manage, the Astral Beam taking the cross-kill. Still, though, Rashiel's up. This isn't like the first round. There is a healer on both sides. That being said, counter, got to play around that, and it is back up. So Rashiel's going to be able to just completely mess around their opponents. Obviously, they're being very careful about when to use it. Clearly waiting for a snipe or another high damage ability, possibly a charged shot. No, the snipe coming out there, not managing to get any counter procced. That is surprising. A Waggle, I'm a little concerned about the defensive usage, but right now, it doesn't really matter. If they're going to lose, they're going to lose, and there's not much that they can do about it unless they are somehow able to focus down one of their opponents. The Quiet Earth, definitely a strong opportunity for that, and that's exactly what a Waggle wants to go for. That counter being baited out successfully, and with that, a Waggle has nothing to get away. They have no Celestial Split, no counter, and no life left. Clean Freak, still up, but unless they can cross-kill the Quiet Earth in about 2 seconds, and that's as in getting those orbs and getting this fight, it is going to be over, and it looks like it indeed is. Quiet Earth has stabilized, and this round, again, going to TKSS, which is, again, a very strong aggression. We did see Airclav not quite get as much success. They did die, after all. But overall, it was a strong position. The opening round, they went around the north side, which is a little bit odd. You don't normally see players go around that north wall. But it did manage to get the pressure onto the back line, and that was successful enough at least distracting a bit and setting up a 2v1, because, of course, Charon is going to be far forward, and Charon was finding quite a bit of success early on, but as soon as Airclap decided to pull back, Charon again was surrounded, as it's been happening all game. This really does need to be a game where, or I would rather like to see Charon hold back a little bit, or go in with a waggle. Like, just both of you press forward your frontline troops, let Clean Freak deal the damage in the back line, which Airclap is trying to get in the way of, and they are actually managing to have a fair amount of success, at least putting pressure, holding center, but now that they're petrified, this is not looking especially great, not looking especially terrible, however, thanks to the fact that Clean Freak is taking quite a bit of damage as well in the orb going to TKSS, securing that fully, and Waggle not even finding anything off the prismatic strike, so this is going again in TKSS's favor. With Charon and Clean Freak separated as they are, Waggle and Charon at least are together. That is something, but we can see why they haven't really been doing that so much, because the Boom Bloom Seeds and the Blast Vaults, both of them are a major hindrance to two melees being close together. And at this point, Charon having nothing to help them stay alive, getting torn apart by the Tiger Strike, and that is, again, TK says, pretty securely taking round 4, as Big Bang, or Beep Beep Lettuce, I don't think Big Bang Lettuce, Beep Beep Lettuce is finding it's very difficult to go in on this team. It's very difficult to be aggressive as, like I said, the CC and defensive potential of this composition is quite strong. But at the same time, there's got to be some way they can actually find the damage if they want to win this match. Just the nature of the game as it is. So what I'd like to see, like I said, is Charon going to hold back, go into the Waggle, let Clean Freak deal the damage, or realize that they are going to hit around the back and then pull back. It's not even a matter of going in together necessarily. We are seeing an aggressive Raygon. Airclap is going in around the north side twice in a row now, and Charon has been going along the south completely out of position from the person coming in trying to tear apart Clean Freak. So if Charon were to go back and play a bit defensive early on, which I'd like to see, I could see that potentially punishing Airclap, pulling them a little away from this aggressive strategy, and if they manage to kill Airclap quickly, now they're in a strong position, and it looks like Clean Freak trying to play the exact opposite strategy with Airclap going forward, Clean Freak going around the back, and I do not agree with this at all. Clean Freak can easily get caught out. They do manage to displace away reasonably well, putting Airclap out of position from the rest of their team, but still, that's a 2v2 and a 1v1. No big deal for TKSS. As it's going, though, TKSS again taking that orb. First orb goes to them, and Charon again out of position. Their parry is down. Their Heavenly Strike is down. They don't have a whole lot to work with this, and the parry down again. They've been thrown out there very frequently, and it's just letting their opponents have a field day as Charon has no way out. Their Heavenly Strike is back up, as is their parry for now, but both of them down, and Charon is easy pickings. Their opponents clearly see that, and that is going to be Charon down as soon as Airclap gets back on the ground. Because that has basically been the story of this game, is defensive abilities being thrown out when they aren't strictly needed, and allowing their opponents to get the punish on them. However, we are seeing Airclap manage to get away just barely. That Dragon Palm saving their life from the Astral Beam and Waggle. They have no resources left, completely separated from their Esmo. Clean Freak will be taking boatloads of damage, not managing to take the orb, managing to nail Airclap, but Airclap is still in a position where they can get back that HP, get those shards, get their max HP back up. They are fully stabilized, and this round is pretty much over. So I did like the way that we saw TK says push that. Airclap, they were intelligently aggressive, they held their own when they needed to, they kept their team safe when times got tough, and I really noticed they were very on point with keeping track of their opponent. Like, they knew exactly when they were going to be setting stuff up, they knew exactly when to go for it, knew exactly when the parry was going to come up, when exactly the parry was down, and that is obviously very key. A bit of a basic skill at higher levels, but clearly something that was not as much on the minds of Beep Beep Lettuce, and it was something I would like to see them adapt towards, is just being a little bit more cautious, a little bit more hesitant in using their defensive abilities so that they can pull them out when they absolutely need them, rather than letting themselves get baited out and then just stuck in the middle of the map with nothing to get away with. But anyway, that was that, so congratulations to TKSS. They'll be moving on to the next round, the quarterfinals. They will be up against Pinky Kimchi. Well, that is going to be a short round. Pinky Kimchi is the #1 seed here. That is the team of Pinky, kangjunpyo, and Devilish. Yeah, that is the top team. That is the top seed. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. I would like to see how that game progresses, but I can't say I'm super confident in the chances for TAKSS. Still, though, well done. Anyway, for the time being, we're going to be moving to a very quick break as we set up the next round. So until that is done, just stay tuned. We'll be back very shortly. Just a short little break, that's all. Enjoy the jazz. Welcome back, Battlerite fans. I remain your host, Dominic, and we are back with a little more Battlerite from Asia. It's going to be a match between Steakhouse and Ennui's Chest Hair. Steakhouse being Naddy, Plsh, and Lobsterlifer, very experienced, long-time team, against Ennui's Chest Hair, Tunni, Vact, and Shale, who might actually be helping us cast out if they get eliminated. So, we have a couple interesting teams. Both of them are quite experienced. They're both made up of Grand Champ players, so this is going to be a very interesting setup. I'm excited to see this. We saw before players around Platinum level in the last match, TKSS and PB Plsh as Platinum Champion, Diamond. This is going to be Grand Champs at play. I'm very excited. So, we are starting out with Paloma Thorn for Steakhouse, and Paloma Croak Iva for Ennui's Chest Hair. So Croak has certainly found their place again. They've been played a bit more recently. I'm interested to see how that works, especially with the new champ coming out, Jamila, being a stealth champ. How that's going to play into Croak being fairly popular, as well as Jade being fairly popular. I'm kind of curious if we're going to... Well, okay, we're not going to see, obviously, Jade, Croak, Jamila compositions in tournament. There's no support there. But it would be interesting to see what would happen as Croak and Jamila do occupy a similar space, or at least in theory do. Still, very interesting. I want to see how this plays out. And for the meantime, we have Croak. Oh, sorry, we have Varesh. So it is, Paloma Varesh Thorn. Somehow I thought we were done with this, like 2 months ago. Turns out no. Turns out we are not done with it. Paloma Varesh is still a thing. Thought it wasn't. My apologies, everyone. We have a Paloma Varesh composition. So it goes. Okay, so map bans are being done afterwards. Scouring Day, Scouring Night, both out. No kidding there. I mean, you're probably going to see Blackstone Day. That's generally what happens. Because Blackstone Day is the even map. Might see Mount Araz Night. I'm not entirely certain one way or the other. But it's going to be interesting. Also, apparently the Chest Hair team is the Battlerite Asia Discord team, which admittedly, they're good. They're apparently really good players, like solo queue good players. So it's more a matter of team cohesion. Will be interesting to watch how that goes. And it's worth noting the Paloma Varesh pick is the... Let's let you guys see this. So Naddy picked Paloma Thorn Varesh. That is going to be Steakhouse with the Paloma Varesh comp. Paloma Croak Iva is Ennui's Chest Hair, which is actually an interesting composition, which that'll be difficult. Paloma Croak Iva. Croak Iva is reasonably strong. Paloma Croak Iva, I'd have to think about it. It's doable, but it requires a pretty aggressive Paloma. Like Croak and Iva are going to be up front doing a lot of work. I could see it work though. More of a Brazilian thing, but I could see it work here too. And Ormond Temple Knight? Ormond Temple, of all the maps in the world. Ormond, okay, cool. We have a map I never get to see. Ever. I don't know if I'm a big fan of it. I would say not especially, but we just don't see it. I mean, that's the exciting thing. Ormond Knight is one of the smallest maps in the entire game. So what are you going to do? You're going to get in the center, and it's going to be this tight little fist fight, like this phone booth fist fight between all the teams. At which point, everything... No, yeah, it's Ormond Temple Knight. I don't know, what are you talking about trolling? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting mixed messages here. So yeah, Ormond Temple Knight, as we can see, it is, like I said, it's a postage stamp. It's a phone booth. It's just tiny little thing. Oh, I see. The Blackstone Day is still available. I missed that. Darn it, Tunni was trolling. Although, to be fair, you could just ban Blackstone Day and let that happen. It's a thing. I mean, it would stop my time from being totally wasted. Ah! Come on, Naddy. Naddy banning Ormond Temple Knight. I mean, okay, it's totally reasonable to ban Ormond Temple Knight. But, yeah. I wonder if Tunni, if they had that, they would have just banned Blackstone Day. It would have actually benefited them, too. They have the Croak and everything. I mean, a Paloma Varesh comp is going to have a much harder time when you're dealing with a tiny map like Ormond Knight. That would be... Okay, good job. You successfully trolled the caster who is running on like 14 hours being awake. So, good job. You tricked an exhausted man. I hope you're proud of yourself. So yeah, Blackstone Day, neutral map, as I was saying, it is completely normal. It is almost always picked. It's the most common map. Oh. And of course, Tunni in stream chat also being a bit of a troll. Yeah. Thanks, Tunni. So, with that, we have Blackstone Day. I can't get it out of my head. We are on Ormond Temple. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how red it is. It's Ormond Temple night. It's just a very discolored Ormond Temple night. So yeah, with Ormond Night, I mean, it's this fairly standard map. It's reasonably open. You have pockets in the northeast and southwest that will potentially kill people because you can get caught up in the walls, and then when that happens, like the walls over here, they kill you. And that's not good. Ideally, dying is reserved for the opponent's team, but obviously being in the corner it's where you kite to. So if you're not careful when you're kiting, you can get caught out. But at the same time, this isn't Blackstone Night, so there is room to maneuver over on the other side. Like you can get away closer to the center. So this isn't the least safe thing in the world. You cede center control, but there are ways out of it. Still, though, we are likely to see I Got Vax go around the walls, around the backside of the walls, to try to find some value that way, get to the back lines, especially with this team. They're going to want to get that Paloma or the Varesh. They're going to want to get those backline characters. Leave Plsh to their own devices. I mean, Chill and I Got Vax should be able to take care of them, no problem. That at least would be the thinking. And we'll see in a moment whether or not that works out. Lobsterlifer actually being quite aggressive, trying to go after Chill immediately, as Chill being not quite damaged to the point of permanent HP loss, but getting pretty close. And then Tunni, on the other hand, going into that Croak and managing to get even more value onto Naddy. A lot of value on Naddy. Barbed Husk saving them briefly, but at the same time, that is at the cost of Tunni's life. Tunni, and Chill as well, going very far forward, and I Got Vaxxed, playing like a crow, going around the sides and not managing to find what they need. Even though Tunni got the orb there, Chill is one good hit, not even combo, just touch away from dying. I'm actually... Oh, wow, that Barbed Husk killing them off, and that is going to be Steakhouse taking the first round. I mean, that's just how it goes. Steakhouse getting a little bit of damage early on onto their Paloma, but not actually getting a lot of value lost that way. Ultimately, while it was a nice little play coming in from Tunni to take that on, they didn't manage to do it in a safe enough position, and Chill also got pulled in a little bit, that they ended up not able to actually get that value to pay off in a kill. They got reasonably close. They set things up well. I would like to see I Got Vaxxed flank if that happens again. But as it was, Tunni's value was at the cost of almost all their HP. And that's the tricky thing with playing Croak. You got to be careful not to lose your HP when you're going forward. And again, we are seeing a little more of a... Actually, not again. We're seeing a slightly more defensive setup from Tunni. Not going as far around the sides as they were before. And we are seeing I Got Vaxxed help out as well. That is close to what I wanted to see. The counter coming out, the Wuju rather, being triggered. But that is more... The story of it is more that I Got Vaxxed is getting pushed into a slightly awkward position, managing to hit Lobsterlifer again, but that's another Wuju. And that means there's no easy way for this to be basically any way valuable for the red team. They just don't have... Like, Yaanae's chest there is finding hardly anything. They're getting damage here and there, and really, I do admire the way Tunni is playing this. Now we have some coordination on Plsh. Now we have a position where they can play off of. The orb, however, does get taken by Steakhouse the second time in this round, but if this works out, if Plsh goes down, and they could very well go down, then it's still a match. It's still Yaanae's chest there, potentially winning a round. This one, though, slight HP advantage is in favor of Steakhouse for now, but there's the camouflage, there's the seed hit, there's Naddy potentially going down. Naddy, are you going to live? And the answer is maybe. Actually, the answer for now is yes, as Plsh is managing to put enough pressure onto Tunni that they aren't managing to find anything. Tunni just completely bullied out of the center, and they're losing Chill as well. Unless they can cross-kill Naddy in the next couple seconds, there is no way this match is going to go their way. And even if they do, it's still going to be an uphill battle just for the HP advantage. At this point, however, it looks like Naddy is going to be managing to survive, and that is going to likely be another round in favor of Steakhouse. So overall, I do like the way that Yaanae's chest air stayed together better. I would like that it happened in round 1. I like that it happened now, and it did pay off quite a bit. But at the same time, it was pretty clear that Steakhouse, they were able to just kite when they needed to, get Naddy out of there when they needed to, and even though they did nearly lose a couple team members, the important thing was they backed off enough that Omni's Chester had a hard time getting in, because with Croak, you gotta find ways of getting that one lone character, and that wasn't really coming up here. So, trying to think what I'd like to see coming out of Omni's Chester, because I do think that the way they played last round was good. I agree with the way they were approaching that. I do think some of it had more to do with the way that Omni's Chester did have to be a little bit more careful, and it's kind of difficult to play Croak careful. I mean, they want to be in the back line, they want to be disrupting, and that's exactly what Tunni is doing, going around the bottom side of the map and finding a little bit of value on a Plsh, finding a position where I Got Vax can actually set up, and more importantly, possibly getting Lobsterlifer. If those Wooches don't get popped this time around, it could work. Plsh being the primary focus, but once that Barb Husk goes down, Plsh still has burrowed. Plsh still should have Entangle if they want to stop somebody, and of course the other side is always there. But Naddy is still on point, getting that orb. So the other side, while it is there, Naddy is on point for everything beyond just saving their teammates. Chill, on the other hand, is finding a little bit of extra trouble, but not as much, actually. Nowhere near as much as before. Although they did just get pulled in there, that was nice to leave a clutch. But that is not going to be enough. Chill is going to stay alive. Tunni and Agavax going to take that orb, and at this point, the HPs are very even, and Plsh could go down. The dead roots getting canceled by the teammates. Other side, Naddy, I'm not sure what they were planning on doing there, but it did work for their opponents. Still, though, Tunni is just about dead. I Got Vaxxed is one shot away from death. Lobsterlifer does find that. You having to use a meter. Kinetic Strike on that does cost 25 meter, but it's totally worth it. I mean, Plsh could go down in a cross kill, but even that would be worth it. And that Barb Husk, perfectly timed to stop the camouflage from getting to them. That is going to be another round in favor of Steakhouse. So overall, it's very clear that Omni's Chester is finding their adaptations. They're getting back in, they're getting some coordination. They are picking good targets. They're picking the targets of opportunity. It's just they aren't managing to get quite as strong in the orb, quite as strong in the other sides, and their opponents are. Like, that's the thing when you have a Paloma, is that you can go very aggressive and then get other-sided out of there, and I haven't really seen a lot of Tunni getting other-sided. I have seen a lot of Plsh getting other-sided, and that has been saving Plsh's bacon over and over. So at this point, I'm not really sure what to expect from Omni's Chester. Their adaptation has clearly been go in aggressive, try to find that Paloma, get rid of Naddy, and then work from there. And of course, Plsh going back to try to save their teammate, while the other side is down. So at the very least, that is going to be a point where Naddy can be torn apart. Barbed Husk is up to save that, but that's all that's left. Inhibitor's Guard as well is taken down, so Naddy is completely vulnerable, but Plsh is the main target. Plsh is at least peeling for their team, and that is exactly what they need to do. With the machine gun coming in, no Barbed Husk able to stop that for the next few seconds, and that means that Plsh has taken boatloads of damage as well. But in all of this, Lobsterlifer has been maintaining the DPS and keeping the rest of the team safe enough. The cross kill is down, but the fact that Lobsterlifer did all that damage earlier on means that this is another round in favor of Steakhouse. Tunni doing their level best to maintain any kind of pressure. But honestly, even if that Venom Wind did go off, there's no easy way Lobsterlifer is going to lose this. They have way too much HP. Tunni is going to go for yet another Venom Wind. One last ditch attempt once they get that last 12 meter or so. But it's going to be difficult to make that work. All the escapes are back up for Steakhouse, so there's nothing that really can be done unless Tunni can bait them out, and that's clearly what they're trying to do with the Deceits. But that, of course, means that they don't have the meter for the ultimate. The Deceits don't find what they need to find, and Tunni, man, I like your disruption style play, but I really wish I Got Vax was able to help with the flank. That's one thing I would like to see, actually. That's the one thing I don't think I can think of that might actually have a fighting chance of getting in this, is if Tunni does not go around the bottom immediately, waits a little bit, goes around the bottom middle of the match, or possibly just goes wherever Naddy is middle of the match, and tries to deal with them there when I Got Vaxxed in a better position to help them out. Right now, I Got Vaxxed, jetpacks in, U-turns out. It's there, it kind of helps, but it's not quite enough, clearly. And this time it looks like Tunni is delaying things a little bit. Going around, throwing the spit, and finding Naddy again, but Plsh pulling back, doing exactly the same thing with the burrow, and making it Naddy's time to shine. Because Naddy doesn't have to worry too much about being damaged. They have their other side. However, there are no escapes left. Well, there's one escape left. Soul Transfer managing to keep Naddy out of the fray long enough that they are not actually able to take the orb, but still able to take a bunch of damage. Or deal a bunch of damage, rather. But this could be it. Naddy able to other side their way out of that stun lock. And that is the round. That is the match. That is the map. So overall, this was just Steakhouse keeping their team alive. Strong coordination on their side, while at the same time, Tunni having a very difficult time getting in that back line and coordinating with their team to get that back line damage. There were moments where we saw Onwee's chest hair find that back line damage. They found when Naddy was vulnerable and all the other side and Soul Transfer and Barbed Husk were down. They took advantage of that, and I liked that. It's just clear that it's clearly quite difficult to find those proper flanks, to find those moments where you can get that damage in there without a teammate on the opponent's side coming in and stuffing it. So, well done, Steakhouse. They move on. They are going to be moving on the upper bracket to fight against clarinet. Well, the winner of clarinet and I can deep it, which is probably going to be, or carrynet, I should say, which is probably going to be carrynet. But on the other side of the bracket, we have Pinky Kimchi and Slayer, which I expect will be a much more, well, maybe even is not the right word. Slayer is reasonably strong, but Pinky Kimchi is top here. They are the top seed, so I expect they're going to be having a relatively easy time. Hopefully, though, we do get one of those fairly quickly. However, in the meantime, we are going to be going for another quick break as we set up the next round, since I can't really just banter with another person, as I am myself. I am merely one person. And there's only so much I can do to convincingly sound like multiple people at once. Actually, there's a lot I can do for that. I've been working on that, but that's beside the point. Anyway, we are going to have Pinky Kimchi and Slayer up next for the semifinals broadcast, so stay tuned for that. It'll be up in a couple minutes. Hey, welcome back, Battlerite fans. I remain Dominic, your host, and we are going to be getting on immediately to the next match. It is going to be, indeed, Pinky Kimchi versus Slayer. I suppose I should realize people are actually pretty on point here. I'm very happy about that. So, let's get straight to it. It is going to be... Well, actually, we'll see what it is. Paloma Shifuteya, from the looks of it, versus a Blossom, Jumong, and Freya. Interesting. Blossom, Freya, Jumong. Well, that's actually not that unusual. I've seen a little bit of that recently in North America. It's been experimented with. Freya has a couple people who champion her. But overall, we don't see a whole lot of her. Very defensive player and a very defensive character, and it's a bit difficult to maintain pressure when you have that kind of defensive play going on. On the other hand, with a team like this, they can hold back. I mean, Blossom can just heal bot up, and Jumong has a very high range, so this could work. While at the same time, it's very clear, Pinky Kimchi, they want blood. They're going to be pushing forward as hard as they can to get it. Because we have KJP, yeah, sure, they're on the Paloma, but Pinky and Devilish, Taya and Shifu, old-style legendary, well, partially old-style legendary setup. I mean, Devilish is going to be going the back lines, trying to stop testing from doing whatever they want to do, or testing and ShinyKnight, while at the same time, Pinky's going to be up front, making sure AoE's life is miserable, while KJP just enables all of it, especially if Devilish gets too far forward. We saw already that a Paloma on the other side that's on point with it can just save a melee teammate from things that really should be fatal. That being said, because this team does have a very long-ranged character, it's quite possible that if KJP does throw out the other side, we are going to see ShinyKnight switch focus over to KJP because there's not much left. I mean, there's going to be the soul transfer, but that's it. Still, though, we are in Dragon Day, and this is actually the thing I find interesting most because Dragon Knight is a very strong map for ranged characters. This giant tunnel down the center, it's quite open. It makes it fairly easy to fire off arrows like that, and makes it a bit harder for Devilish to get in. While at the same time, we do see AoE being exceedingly aggressive and getting completely thrown away from the fight. 2v3 in the northeast side, and it's going about as well as you'd expect for a 2v3. I mean, I really like the way that ShinyKnight is trying to hold on to this, and Testing able to push Devilish away long enough to keep themselves alive for a little bit longer. But at this point, they don't have their tree up, and they're not really all that well off for anything else. And they go down with that, and that'll soon be followed by ShinyKnight. AoE finally gets back into the fight. But really, that panic, I mean, the forward aggression followed by KJP's Spirit Rift, that ended the round before it started. I'm a little surprised that AoE did actually go forward as far as they did. Freya is not a melee champ known for her aggression. She's a melee champ known for her shields, known for the fact that she has basically Spring and that's it as a way in, and thus usually wants to stay around their team. That level of separation is unhealthy, to say the least. I mean, I'm putting it lightly when I say that, but that is the thing that lost the match. If AoE was near their team, there would have at least been a match to be had. It would have been a round. It wouldn't have been a slaughter. I'm assuming AoE is going to be a little more careful about that. My assumption is clearly incorrect, as AoE is going around the right side of the map and is doing everything they can to get it on a KJP immediately, springing right in and having no way out. However, that panic would have at least led them back to their team had they been proccing it. As it stands, though, Devilish and Pinky just doing all the work in the back line. Pushing everything away, maintaining the center control, taking the orb, and Devilish making ShinyKnight's life as miserable as possible. AoE, however, is there to defend. This is the sort of thing I wanted to see last time, and even with that, Testing and Shiny are having a hell of a time trying to find any value and go down. AoE shortly follows. And again, I like the fact that AoE was near their team, but it's clear that that's not quite enough. There needs to be a bit more of a defensive focus, and it's difficult to do when you have Devilish running around as fast as they are, running around as intelligently as they are. They're picking ShinyKnight when they can. When ShinyKnight doesn't have Prowl, ShinyKnight doesn't have Black Arrow, go for it. And then getting all the right angles to hit Testing 1001 at the same time. Which is just what you want to do with Shifu. The Spear Thrust is a piercing attack. You want to make the most of it if you can. And that's exactly what Devilish is doing. Actually, Impale accounting for 33% of their damage. They're handling that very well. So right off the bat, we do see AoE is playing a little bit more conservatively, staying with their team, trying to just push, trying not to disrupt. They're not a croak, and they've realized this. Devilish, however, is going back. They are Shifu, and they know it, but they are being punished for being a bit too Shifu. But they are not getting punished as well as their opponents would like. Testing again, getting the damage, but AoE is there to save their healer. Nicely done, AoE. That's exactly what I wanted to see from Freya, and this is panning out fairly well. The HP advantage remains in favor of... Oh, Pinky Kimchi, you've just taken that again. And a lot of that is AoE got separated hard. I mean, that's all there is to it. AoE, they got separated from Testing 1001 around the right side of the left side of the map near the end of that game. I mean, there was a nice little bit of cohesion where AoE was near Testing 1001 right at the start. And that kept them alive. On the top right side of the map, they stayed in the match. They kept their healer alive. They kept Devilish from doing the damage they wanted to do. But as soon as Testing 1001 got separated from that and AoE didn't follow them, I mean, that was death. That was it. Devilish knew they could go for it and went for it. At this point, I'm not even sure what Slayer would do. I mean, Pinky Kimchi is being extremely intimidating. Slayer, however, is pushing. They have not lost their resolve just yet. They are getting in there, but it's not a question of resolve. It's a question of cohesion. If AoE and Testing 1001 can stay together, if the entire team, rather, can stay together, it can work out. And AoE going in for a punish on Pinky, but while Pinky doesn't have a huge amount of defensive abilities, their team is still alive and still right there. And that's exactly what's the case, and that's exactly leading to no damage being dealt. At this point, though, that's also broadly true for Slayer. They're clearly just waiting for Devilish to go in, and Devilish has just gone in, and their Kunju not getting popped. They do have their Tempest Rush, and the other side should be up as well in case any major pressure comes in. That's exactly what's happening with the major pressure, but the other side has not been popped yet. The Kunju has been procced. The other side should be popping up any second now, but no, clearly they're very confident Devilish can find this, and that is exactly right. Devilish able to maintain all the damage in the world while basically taking no damage from whatsoever themselves. Testing 1001 goes down again as AoE tries to punish forward the front line and does not manage to find anything or not enough to save their healer from death to pull Devilish back. So this is going to be 4th round in favor of Pinky Kimchi as they show that they really know how to do target priority. Devilish getting into Testing 1001 anytime there's even a slight opening, and AoE has just gone that slight bit further away. We saw repeatedly that round that AoE would get a few extra character lengths from Testing 1001 and Devilish would pounce. So I expect that's just going to continue in the next round. It's really hard to say what to do because ultimately it comes down to AoE having to be glued to Testing 1001. Like I said, Devilish will take any opportunity that comes their way. So because any opportunity is coming their way, they're taking it. And that's leading Testing 1001 to die a slow, well, quick, painful death. AoE, however, it's hard to say what they can do. Freya, while they are a fairly strong defensive character in terms of their shielding, they don't provide shields to their teammates. And they really don't provide a whole lot of direct support to the teammates at all. Really what they provide is a body in the way that doesn't die very quickly. But at this point, AoE is, again, trying to go in. They're clearly playing a very Shifu or Croak style of play, which is working fine for Devilish as they are playing Shifu. Again, Testing 1001, they're getting separated by Devilish, and that is leading to a lot of damage. Forest Sanctuary was a good way of getting away from said damage, but then again, ShinyKnight, like I said about target priority. You can't kill Testing 1001, go for ShinyKnight, and that's exactly what happened. And while the Forest Sanctuary is up again, that's actually the one thing keeping them in the game. Devilish is taking boatloads of damage. One good shot, that Kunju not getting popped. This could be Devilish going down. The Tempest Rush, however, will manage to keep them at least alive long enough to allow for the Tornado to get in as well. And if Devilish does go down, it'll be at the cost of the entire team in the entire game. AoE going for that Thunder Strike on a perfectly healthy pair of enemies. And while Devilish might go down here, that is not going to save the game. So it was worth trying. Definitely they got the focus on Devilish, but at the same time, Pinky and KJP were just dealing all the damage in the back lines. I mean, if you look at the damage dealt, KJP dealt 630 damage. They dealt the most damage to the entire team. Devilish was just there to tank. Paloma DPS, right there. So that was the quick match it was. That certainly was what happened. I mean, that's just Pinky Kimchi. They are the top seed, and they are the top seed for a reason. It's very clear they got the coordination down, and they know exactly how to break up an opposing team. On the other side of the bracket, however, we have clarinet and Yaanae going at it. I believe that is an active match, so I don't expect there is going to be a super long break, but there will be a break as we wait for the second semifinals. That is going to be the match between Steakhouse and the winner of clarinet and Yaanae. So once we get that going, that'll be an exciting match. We won't be seeing clarinet versus Yaanae. I believe that is currently running, or certainly hope so. But at this point, it is going to be a short break as we wait. Until then, stay tuned and listen to some nice, smooth jazz. Welcome back, Battlerite fans, to more of the Battlerite Asia number 4 tournament. Our man, your host, Dominic, and we're back with the second upper bracket semifinals. It's going to be between Clarinet, or Carrynet, and Steakhouse. So we've seen Steakhouse already. They were up against... my nose. Excuse me. Yeah, up against Oni's chest hair. And we saw it wasn't the most even fight. I mean, Oni's chest hair had a bit of a hard time using the croak to push forward and deal a lot of damage, while Steakhouse, on the other hand, I mean, that was Thorn, Paloma, Varesh. Yeah. So I'm curious what we're going to see with Carrynet. I don't remember exactly what Carrynet tends to play, but the thing is that it's also been a while since I've casted an Asia game, and there's a lot of meta developments that's happened in the meantime. So I can't really say for sure what's going to happen because I haven't had a chance to see those scrims. However, we are seeing Paloma Jade for Carrynet, while Varesh is being picked by Naddy for Steakhouse. It looks like Steakhouse is likely to go for the Paloma Varesh, possibly Thorn comp, while Carrynet going for Paloma Jade and possibly Rygon, if we're going by titles. That seems the most obvious thing, but honestly I have no idea. It really comes down to what the players actually do decide to play, which ultimately is what we're doing the picks for. So clearly Naddy trying to figure out the next two, and Varesh, Paloma, Freya. Interesting. So they're going to be going for a slightly more defensive. This makes sense to me. Varesh, Paloma, Freya. I mean, we saw last time it was Plsh, Varesh, Paloma, Thorn, and that did lead to a slightly more aggressive but still fairly pressure-oriented composition. Now with Freya in place of Thorn, I actually think that could work fine for aggressive Freya, now that I think about it. Like, Varesh and Paloma can kind of hold their own reasonably well. And then Paloma, Jane, Thorn on the other side. So yep, we're all Paloma now. It's EU meta in Asia, because Paloma, I guess, is still popular here. Interestingly, not seeing a lot of Xanders. The shift that's happened in the EU and NA has been Paloma's been largely replaced with Xander. And also other healers have started to come up as well. But yeah, Xander, like Xander Jade Rook, for instance, is a massive amount of damage boost. And you don't see a whole lot of that here, but it's an amazing composition to have. I really would like to see some of that here, but quite frankly, Paloma is something I haven't seen in a while, so I can't say I'm sick of it right now. Honestly, I don't mind seeing a little bit of Paloma here and there. It's surprisingly a change of pace. I know I say that with Paloma being such a popular champ, but now that Paloma has lost that pedestal, it's not a situation where Paloma is just going to be fighting everyone. Like, Paloma is actually going to be, or rather, not fighting everyone, dominating everyone in terms of picks. So pretty cool. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see there is still room for Paloma somewhere. But again, if we start seeing Xander, I don't know how long that's going to last. Like, as in the Asia scene. In the NA and EU scenes, it seems like already Xander has dominated that. But then again, we'll see on Sunday, because that's the next big EU and US tournament set, and that is going to be interesting because we don't see a lot of similarities week to week. I find these days so many things are shifting in the meta that every week to every week we see a totally different set of champions being played. We could very well start seeing Paloma again. Asia could be ahead of the curve. Still though, as it stands, we have Ormond's Down, Blackstone Knight, Skyring Day, and Dragon Knight, as well as Mount Raz Day. All the pretty typical bands. At this point, we're actually starting to get into the choices with Dragon Day's next band, most likely. And then after that, we have, I don't know, Blackstone Day's band. Whoa, that's new. You don't usually see that band like that. So, Mount Raz Knight, Dragon Garden Day, and Skyring Knight are available. My guess is it'll be Skyring Knight or Mount Raz Knight. But it could very well just end up being Dragon Day. Mount Raz Knight being banned means Dragon Day is that or Skyring Knight, both of which would really benefit Clarinet a lot. Being able to separate out when you have the Jade and the Thorn, and Jade and the Thorn, well, the Thorn in particular is doing a lot of separation work already, and the map's helping you out. Or Dragon Garden Day. Okay, we're on Skyring Knight. So yeah, Skyring Knight, you have the walls helping separate your team. You have the Thorn helping separate your team. This could very well be a match where Carrynet just completely pulls apart Steakhouse and then just cuts right in there. And then leaving Steakhouse a bloody mess in the ground. But on the other hand, Steakhouse, if they manage to stick together, they should be able to manage to deal with this, no problem. So yeah, we are just the map. I don't. So it goes. But yeah, Scouring Night. That is a tricky map. I think what we're going to end up seeing, if one team starts finding the separation, the other team's probably going to try to either push forward or pull back a little bit, just to stay in the open areas in the left and right side of the map where you don't have to worry about his walls as much. There's more to work with. Still, though, I expect at the start we are going to see aggression on both sides. Oh, right. This got out of there. Anyway, I expect we're going to see reasonable aggression on both sides. Again, very likely we're going to see a lot more aggression coming out from clarinet, just because of their composition. But aggressive Paloma Varesh is not a bad thing. Does happen from time to time. Not super often, but sometimes. Of course, man, I'm just really curious. I'm actually really excited to see this. clarinet is the second seed. So they are, right behind Pinky Kimchi, which we already saw. And Steakhouse we did see before, and they are quite high up in the seeding. They are quite strong players. So it could be an even match. I don't think it'll be another 5-0. I do think it will be, both teams on the board, as we'd hope. But honestly, I have no idea. Also, I really hope we have Korean moderators, because I can barely read that. Also, I'm not going to be moderating while casting, but as a side note, I'm sure we have Korean moderators here. But yeah, this is taking too long to start. 10 seconds is too long to wait for this whole setup to go. I want to see more clarinet. I want to see more Jade. I just want to see how Paloma's going to work out with this, because I do think it's a pretty good choice for healer. I just haven't seen this composition before. I mean, like I said, Paloma Jade Freya, that's pretty normal. Or was pretty normal. Paloma Thorn Jade, not so much. But yeah, Paloma Varesh Freya. And that is being aggressive. We are seeing pressure coming out from there, but we are seeing much more successful pressure from Karen you fools. There he is. There they are, back up in front. Back up, starting to make sure that Plsh does not find the mileage they need. And at this point, you fools is doing a great job just distracting their opponents and pulling them away from center. And of course, with Yaanae there, with the Jade there, center control is surprisingly not actually taken. Despite the fact that Jade's there, the orb does indeed go over to Steakhouse. Nicely done. However, that is at the cost of much of their HP. Plsh is taking boatloads of damage. Plsh is going to have a very difficult time staying in this in a real way. Oh, wow. Clarinet managing to avoid the ancestral spirit. But at the same time, Plsh is going to be going down. Plsh is going to get a Thunderstrike. The Barbed Husk at least saving them. That is a really well-played Barbed Husk by you fools. Clarinet could have gone down there if that hadn't happened. But even at this point, center control is very strongly in favor of Steakhouse, and Steakhouse has managed to get both orbs thus far. So at this point, you fools trying to find what they can, trying to get a fair amount of punishment on a Plsh, but really not managing to find all that much damage just because of how often all the defenses come in. However, the orb does finally go over to clarinet. Both teams haven't gotten the orb, and clarinet, that puts them at a slight HP advantage. Certainly puts them in a position where they could very easily get rid of the Lobsterlifer, and indeed they do. That is the Varesh down. Plsh is likely next to fall as they are running forward, and overall that match, it was really close. I mean, even there, we could have had a cross kill potentially if it weren't for the other side. But overall, clarinet, they just had a slightly better read on things. They threw out the Barbed Husks whenever they needed to. They threw out the other sides whenever it was wise to do so. And Yaanae as the front liner is actually working out reasonably well. I mean, the early game, it seemed like it happened because it had to, and you fools got a little bit caught out going bit to the bottom left. But after that, it felt like Yaanae was really doing a lot of the front line of work, and that's what Jade can do. Like, Thorn is a bit of a backliner melee, tends to pull people in and try to deal damage that way, while Jade tends to be a bit of a frontliner ranged. So it's interesting to see how that interacts when they have the two in the same team and you don't have anyone else really running the front line. You have Clarinet in the back with Paloma, who's being very back. So at this point, Paloma is clearly here to stay in the Asia scene, at least for the time being. But at the same time, we are seeing that Lobsterlifer did have a bit of a hard time dealing the damage that Yaanae was able to find. So I expect that it might be a change. We might see a change going forward if Steakhouse loses this in the lower brackets, but I feel like they are sticking to the Paloma Varesh for the time being, and that means that their opponents carrying it are able to stick to that pressure for the time being. But even then, the center control is being taken. We are seeing the push. We are seeing what I expected in the first place. Steakhouse running in with that push, with that pressure right up front, and that is going to be a really strong move, giving them full center control, while at the same time, Yaanae could theoretically take some of it. It does not work out. Plsh managing to grab that orb, and with that, just pushing that HP advantage back to even. Despite the orb, really, there's been so much damage brought in. Yaanae has been dealing so much to Naddy, just making Naddy have no real room to breathe, that at this point, it's very difficult to say what's going to happen, other than Naddy is going to have to worry about whether or not they can even survive this, and being in the front lines, not getting that orb is going to make it even harder to survive all this. And with that, it looks like we are going to see Plsh knocked down to half HP. That's exactly what we're going to see. And with Plsh down to half HP, not a whole lot of frontliners available. However, Lobsterlifer getting boatloads of value off of that powers combined. Does even out the HP pools a fair bit, and with the orb pretty much fully inside of Steakhouse's control, and yeah, fully inside of Steakhouse's control, that does bring them back up. But even then, it's just one small moment of hesitation from Plsh leads to them being torn to pieces by Yaanae. So it completely undoes every bit of good work done with that orb. And at this point, we're seeing pretty much done to Steakhouse what Steakhouse managed to do earlier to Ennui's chest hair, and that is just make sure that anytime their opponents come in and deal some damage, anytime Plsh, for instance, comes in and starts attacking, or anytime we start seeing Lobsterlifer get a bit forward, that they're punished far harder than they are punishing, that they take far more than they give. So at this point, clarinet taking 2 rounds to nothing, and finding a really strong position to work from. I'm really trying to think, what could Steakhouse do? What would I like to see from Steakhouse? I don't think they're necessarily playing it badly. I do like the fact that they're together and they are pressuring together. I think that's the right call. I think the one thing they're having trouble with is just that trying to deal with you fools splitting them up and Yaanae finding angles here and there to deal bits of damage. That combination is very strong and very difficult to deal with. Like right there, Lobsterlifer getting sniped, forced to get Naddy on healing, and that means that we don't see as much healing onto Plsh. Although Plsh, luckily for them, managing to stay alive long enough that it doesn't matter too much, but even then, it's still enough. And even we're seeing Yaanae body block some of the healing on top of that. However, this round is going very strongly in favor of Steakhouse, despite all the interference. They are managing to get the HP advantage. They don't manage to get the orb, but that just means that they are, they're still in the control. They still have that center, still have all the shards potentially available, and all they don't have is a way of taking full advantage of those. Oh, they do. Never mind. They have full advantage of the walls. Plsh has hammers. They can just start doing imcaps on the walls, which for Skyward United is a bit of a tricky thing to do. And there's the position for it. Oh, not quite seeing the incap on clarinet. Yaanae doing a great job just getting that silence while the static is up to stop the incap from happening. And that does mean center control is reverted again to clarinet, so they're able to get that orb once again and maintain the HP parity. But it's just a matter of waiting for when clarinet or Plsh is in a slightly off position, and that's exactly what happened to Plsh, getting forced into an opposition thanks to the dead roots. And with that, Plsh should be going down, but no, before that Naddy drops, and Plsh trying to take out clarinet, but not getting any real value, thanks to that Ancestral Spirit healing clarinet back up. So again, clarinet just holding that. It's not super dominating round by round. The scoreline is fairly dominating, but it's clear that Steakhouse does have a fight. It's just that, again, clarinet is finding that extra bit of value. I mean, in that round, we saw Yaanae starting out with the snipe and then moving on to just getting bits of value here and there, just finding people to shoot, like largely just shooting Plsh whenever needed. I mean, Plsh didn't fall as quickly in Lobsterlifer and Naddy until that one combo at the very end. Naddy was actually doing okay. But again, Naddy, they got out of their team. They got kind of bottom left when the rest of their team was top right and the opponent's team was in between. So it wasn't really the best place to be. They were not behind their team. They were beside their team. But again, we are seeing strong pressure coming in from Steakhouse as they are pushing forward, trying to deal with this stuff as best as they can. So given that, Steakhouse should be able to at least hold off a little bit. Clarinet has been taking quite a bit of damage, as has Yaanae, and the separation means that this damage has been permanent. So the HP advantage very strongly in favor of Steakhouse only being reduced to some parity by the orb being taken by Clarinet, and even then, the damage from Clarinet is not managing to burst through Naddy's healing. So overall, this is a round that could go to Steakhouse. And it's all as it comes down to Yaanae here. Yaanae is managing to find a little bit of value, but at the same time, it's just surrounds every single time. We are seeing Steakhouse getting those surrounds in onto whoever is open on Clarinet. Right now, it's going to be you fools. Maybe in a second, it'll be Yaanae. Clarinet's actually fairly open as well, but really, it's targets of opportunity as they're taking them, and they're doing it very well. Just slowly but surely wearing away at their opponent's team. Granted, both compositions are pretty attrition-focused, but really, Paloma Resh, that is a classic attrition-focused combo, especially when you allow that backline play. If that orb gets taken, whoever takes this orb is going to be winning this round. And it is, it is actually going to be stolen by Carrying. A nice snipe there, coming out from Yaanae, allowing them to stabilize at half HP, same as their opponents. If they can take a Lobsterlifer out with this combo, or at the very least take them down to half HP as they just did, that is putting them in a position possibly to take back this round. It's still going to be an uphill battle. This next orb is still going to be very important as well, and it looks like it's going to be solidly in favor of Steakhouse. Yaanae trying to go for it, Yaanae will go down. Ooh, but does not manage to get it before losing their HP. Actually, doesn't manage to get it at all. Going down to the ultimate. My previous remarks being a little bit mistaken, that last orb, really much more, not even the last orb was important, is the fact that in between the orb fights, the damage being dealt to Clarinet was just not answered. Steakhouse doing exactly to Clarinet what Clarinet was doing to them, answering far more than they were taking. Or rather, giving far more than they were taking. And if you're just looking at the damage values, I mean, Yaanae kind of got close, but if you look at the overall, like, Plsh managed to outdo everyone but Yaanae. Lobsterlifer outdid everybody else. Clarinet did have a lot of protection coming in, however. But even then, like, Clarinet had all this protection coming in, their team was dealing less damage. And there wasn't that much less protection on the opponent's side. So the team, it worked out. It worked out for them. They did manage to stay this round, and at this point, the center pressure is holding. We do see Steakhouse pushing very hard in that center and making sure that they do have a position that is defensible, that does give them the orb. And with this, Clarinet is being heavily damaged on top of that, being clearly the focus, managing to get that Spirit Rift to open things up on top of the Evil Clutch to make the orb snipe work. But at this point, the amount of damage that's been dealt to Clarinet and to you fools is so much that it's really going to be another uphill battle. Even with that orb steal, it's still Plsh is taking it. Plsh could very easily turn this into another win for Steakhouse, getting closer to evening up the round score. But that's assuming Plsh doesn't go down. One good combo will take Plsh down, and since the next orb is going over again to Clarinet, Clarinet should be 20% HP down, but they should be able to even things out with a good combo. It looks like Plsh doesn't have a whole lot of escapes left, and that is going to mean Plsh could go down, as could Lobsterlifer. Lobsterlifer, however, going for Clarinet with a kinetic strike, and Plsh able to take it out with a Thunder Slam. So that is, again, Steakhouse taking a second round, getting a little bit closer to being even. And I like the way they've adapted to this. They've made sure to stick together. They made sure to go for whoever they can that's just off. And again, we have that slight separation coming out from Clarinet, just because of the way that their composition is built. Thorn is going to be going a little forward. Jade is going to be a little off to the side. It's not quite the same as Paloma Varesh. And we are seeing Clarinet trying to be kind of aggressive, trying to push forward and maintain a position that they can stay with their team. It's just harder to do. Their teammates aren't helping silence. Their teammates don't have shields that can activate at any range for meterless. I mean, Jade has shielding, but that's metered. Plsh has their own shielding as well. But in terms of helping their teammates, I should say. Though, then again, we do have you fools with the Barbed Husk. And we actually do have Plsh running forward, very likely getting surrounded a bit. Panic coming in there, allowing for Polo's damage on top of the Evil Clutch, pulling them back in. This is exactly what Clarinet wants. Plsh is taking enough damage that they are forced out of that frontline role, managing to get that orb, managing to actually use that orb to get back up to half HP, which is exactly what they need. But even then, the HP advantage is still about 20%. And Lobsterlifer getting surrounded this time around, with Plsh not being able to be the frontline, Lobsterlifer is fully open to being surrounded like that, and that means that Plsh has to go for that Desperation Lightning Strike into the back line. And that could well lead to their death. At the very least, it leads the other side being burnt up, which means Lobsterlifer has no easy way out other than Kinetic Strike or Wuju. Either way, but that means Lobsterlifer can't ult. That means Lobsterlifer can't easily take advantage of YouFool's low HP. And with that, Lobsterlifer is about to go down unless they play extremely safe. And it looks like Yaanae has read that Wuju, stopping from happening. The Kinetic Strike is still going to keep Lobsterlifer in this match. But if Lobsterlifer goes down, that is going to be Steakhouse losing, getting to match point. And that's not where they want to be. At the same time, though, it's very clear that a possible cross-kill could be coming on YouFools. Yaanae and clarinet doing everything they can to save that, but YouFools having to now be the backline being protected by their Jade. Still, though, that's enough. That's all they need. YouFools has managed to stabilize. Plsh not managing to find what they needed to find in order to deal the damage, and at this point, with the orb going again very strongly to clarinet, this is a position that can be won. Ooh, Entangle. That could have been a faster win. Anyway, though, this round, it was more even. It was definitely more even. clarinet had to work for that one. Started out, you had the front line going in, you had YouFools dealing some damage, and then being forced back very quickly. The biggest thing to me was that Plsh took the damage early on. Like, that helped give clarinet room to breathe. Plsh got down to below half HP right at the start of the match. That is huge. Because that happened, clarinet could more easily maneuver the map. They could more easily separate from the team, not worry so much about being torn apart, because they know that as soon as Plsh gets out of position slightly, they're dead. And Lobsterlifer got slightly out of position, and Plsh couldn't easily save them, because it's just hard to do when you could be dead as well. But at this point, Lobsterlifer being hit in the back lines this round, and Plsh again taking a fair bit of damage, but this is working out better for Steakhouse. None of their players are taking massive amounts of permanent damage. Lobsterlifer and Plsh have taken some, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was last round. However, Lobsterlifer is still taking a fair bit in the back lines thanks to those thorns. And YouFools, they're just going for that with the thorns, managing to get enough damage in there that Lobsterlifer doesn't quite get that confident position. And Plsh going a little overextended, getting down to 3/4 HP, but it's not worth it. It is not enough considering their opponent's team HP, let alone their opponent's individual HP. It is going to be a very tricky situation. At this point, it's clear that Plsh, they can't quite find that other side going out there. The Thunderstrike being a little bit premature, probably obviously trying to go in on the in cap, is just not quite fast enough, or else didn't quite happen in response to the in cap quickly enough. That means Plsh burns their ult meter, doesn't really get a whole lot out of their opponents, and at this point, just trying to go in for one more strike, but now that Dead Roots blocks them off from any healing, meaning that they are not going to be helped at all during this combo. They're managing to get out of there a little bit with their spring, but now they have no escapes. They have no iframes. They have nothing. Their counter is up, but it's been completely baited. So, really, Plsh, they're doing everything they can with their proper rotations. They've got their defensive rotations, which I really like, but it's still not quite enough. They're still taking damage over time. That attrition is burning them, and that is going to be enough that if it weren't for the fact that clarinet was taking a fair amount of damage as well, it would be over. But clarinet is taking that fair amount of damage, so there is still a chance for Steakhouse to take this round. It's going to be close, and it's going to come down to making sure that they don't misplay anything, especially Plsh. But actually, even more especially Naddy, who's been taken out by Yaanae, just getting that focus on the back lines as best they can. So Plsh is going to go down. Oh, no, never mind. First off, it's going to be Naddy go down, then Plsh is going to go down. And then that's going to be the round for clarinet, moving on to the grand finals. They're going to be facing off against not grand finals, so the upper bracket finals, where they'll be facing off against Pinky Kimchi. And Steakhouse going down to the lower bracket, they'll be facing off against Depit. As that is going to be, well, they beat TKSS. So we don't see any of the teams we saw at the beginning of the round, or beginning of the entire tournament. So well done to clarinet. Well done to Steakhouse, however, for winning a couple rounds. That's been, I believe, the first on-stream game where rounds have been won by both teams. So good on you for making it not a 5-2, or making it not a 5-0. So as I was saying, we have in the upper bracket we have Pinky Kimchi and clarinet, and in the lower bracket we have has Slayer versus Ennuy's Chest Hair and Steakhouse versus Depit. The winner of that, well, the winner of both those matches fight each other. The winner of that ends up going up against whoever loses in the upper bracket finals of Pinky Kimchi versus clarinet. And I don't know how quickly that'll actually come up, because I'm sure the players are ready, and it looks like indeed they are. So no break this time around. We are going straight into it. The next round, I don't believe they've picked the map or the champions yet. Still though, this is the upper bracket finals, so get excited. We have Pinky Kimchi versus clarinet, the number 1 and number 2 seeds of this tournament, going at it against each other. So with that, it is going to be it's going to be a pretty even match, I'd say. I mean, we've seen both these teams. We saw that Pinky Kimchi is playing a very aggressive composition this time around. They're playing with that, well, this wasn't that aggressive compared to clarinet, because clarinet, you had the Diploma in there, but Paloma Jade Thorn, they were holding their own pretty well. So I think we are going to see the Shifu coming in from Pinky Kimchi, if they do decide to play Shifu. We're going to see that, and that's going to be going in and disrupting. But if we see the Jade coming out there, yeah, Shifu is coming out. So if we see the Jade coming from clarinet, this could still work out in a way that is pretty even. Like, we've seen clarinet does have the trap play. They can just open things up, let Pinky Kimchi run at them, and then get torn to pieces. Granted, Shifu can just go and Fleetfoot, and then it's no big deal, but that's, we've seen the way that Yaanae has been playing this. They know that's going to happen. They know the Kunji is going to happen. They're probably not going to proc them. Now, Yaanae has been playing this masterfully well, really. Although they're playing Esmo... Oh, Paloma Esmo Bako. Interesting. Versus Paloma Shifutea. Okay, so we're not seeing the Jade this time around. We're seeing a slightly more defensive strategy, actually. Actually, I say that, but Bako can really rush in and go to the back line. So I think we might be seeing kind of a shift back and forth, where clarinet, they're going to have the Bako there. The Bako can hold back and help the Paloma if the Shifu comes in, and can also push in on their own if the Shifu is starting to hold back. And I expect this likely to happen. Like, we're going to see that rhythm back and forth for the Bako. They have to keep being very careful about where they choose to go. At any rate, with that setup, Orman Temple goes down naturally. You don't want to be fighting a Bako and Orman Temple if you can help. I mean, really, any melee in Orman Temple. I expect the players are probably going to go for Blackstone Day. I mean, we might see you fools decide to ban Blackstone Day just to remove that slightly even matchup. Try to get Dragon Day up. But it looks like Dragon Knight's not being taken, so I don't expect we're going to be going for the more ranged-focused Dragon Day, the more open setup. And Era's Day, no surprises there. Era's Night might be going down, although Era's Night would be another one that would benefit you fools quite a bit. And you fools taking out Scouring Night, which, again, no surprise there. The Shifu will separate them hard if they go on Scouring Night. I think Paloma Esmo Bako, that is an interesting strategy. That is potentially very defensive. Like, defensive in a way that Paloma Varesh just wishes they were. Between the Bulwarks and the Heroic Shouts, and of course, Other Side and Arcane Barrier, like, there's so many ways that these characters are going to be able to just keep each other alive. Yeah, KJP just looking around trying to figure out clearly which maps are which. Taking out Blackstone Knight, no surprise there. That's not very popular. And Dragon Day's out as well. You fools not going for that open range. So at this point, we do have the typical pick of Blackstone Day and Mount Raz Knight. And I expect it will be Blackstone Day, since KJP is going to be able to choose that. If they choose Mount Raz Knight, I'll be very surprised, though. I feel like their team would work better on the slightly less open Blackstone Day, where they have room to push people against walls and just wreck them. And indeed, they disagree. They're going for Era's Night. Okay. I think this is the most even map for these teams, for the compositions they went for. So well done. I mean, well, sorry, I was looking at the bracket, the talk. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting match. We have Era's Knight. I mean, that's a popular map. That's, I would say, the second most popular map that's played at tournament level. And with that, it's... Man, this is basically going to be clarinet trying to create a trap and Pinky Kimchi trying to sidestep it. That is my immediate synopsis about how this match is going to play out. Just, I can't think of any other way it'd work. Like, really, in all honesty, I can't think of any other way that this would be constructed than clarinet is just going to wait for Pinky Kimchi to come at them and then deal with it. So with this setup, though, it's like... I'm just curious what's going to happen when YouFools goes in the back line. I expect YouFools will be doing a bit of a push as soon as they get the chance. And considering what they're up against, that could actually be very useful. Pinky doesn't have a whole lot to get away with apart from their tornado. And then Devilish would have to be pushed back, and that would give Yaanae loads of room to deal damage. We've already seen Yaanae is quite skilled at dealing damage when they need to. Just firing off when their opponents don't have their abilities and chaining things well, baiting counters well, pulling up well, getting already KJP into a slightly awkward position, forcing that other side and putting KJP in a position they'd rather not be in as far as helping their teams out. Devilish in the back line getting stunned out for that bulwark, and there's YouFools in the defense. There's that trap being sprung, and there's the orb as well going over just to help out carrying just that little bit more. Or sorry, help out Pinky Kimchi. But it doesn't matter. Pinky Kimchi got that at the cost of their Devilish, the cost of their Shifu, potentially the very least the cost of their Shifu being a strong front liner. That Shifu cannot be careless. They're going to be torn to pieces if they are. This was exactly what clarinet wanted. They set the trap, it got sprung, and now Devilish is fighting for their lives, but still actually managing just barely. KJP also being torn apart by that ultimate, by that Grimoire, and Devilish goes down. KJP will soon follow, and with that, Pinky Kimchi loses the first round to clarinet, who really just played against that style perfectly. Knew exactly what they were up against, knew exactly how to strategize around it. They knew that with the Baco in there, Devilish would come up at the top, as they did right at the start of the round, and we saw immediately the bulwark was laid out. That was it. Devilish smacked into it, got stunned, got rushed. That turned into a larger combo, and then Devilish kept going back in. Try to be sticky, but the thing is, when you're dealing with the Baco, it's very difficult to be sticky. That bulwark alone, not to mention the fact that Baco is a very tough character with a fair amount of shielding on their own and can just war stomp you, it's very difficult to maintain sticky presence against that kind of defense. So clearly, we are seeing that Pinky Kimchi is being a little bit more careful about this. Devilish is still going in the back lines, but not as far away from their team as before. And not as far away from the center as before. However, Yaanae, with that arcane barrier, doing a great job keeping Devilish at bay, and that is going to be enough to give the room needed for YouFools to find all the mileage in the world to stop Pinky. Pinky does manage to get the orb, and actually YouFools taking a lot of damage trying to prevent that, so this could very well be Kimchi getting back in here. Though the Grimoire doing its best, KJP getting tornadoed out of there, so that's not going to be quite enough to stop things. However, with Devilish getting all this mileage, this actually could still be a win for Pinky Kimchi. I mean, despite some of the early misgivings, Pinky Kimchi has figured out, as long as they don't go super aggressive, they've got this. And indeed, that's the case. The Kunju going, however, that must have been intentional, because that puts Devilish in a terrible position. That is exactly what Pinky Kimchi does not want to have happen. That's exactly what clarinet does. But then again, clarinet just, now they're pushed back. Pinky Kimchi is able to maintain almost full center control just because that Kunju got popped. It wasn't a bad idea from the trap perspective, but the Fleetfoot was able to make that pay off for Devilish. And now all the ultimates coming out of the Grimoire, the second Grimoire in the world, not finding anything. That has got to be heartbreaking. Now that's just over. We have clarinet down, Yaanae dropping, YouFools as well, and that is a 1-to-1 match. Pinky Kimchi evening up the scoreline and really showing that after one round of the slightly more aggressive play that they were used to, they're on form. That's not surprising, but it does mean that we'll have to see clarinet play a little bit differently. They might have to push a little more. They might have tried to disrupt the back line. It's going to be a careful, close-run thing. But I think if they manage to pull it off, we should see you fools getting in the back line and essentially doing exactly what Devilish wants to do. At any rate, Pinky Kimchi, they even up that match in a way that leads me to think they might 5-1 this. I really am curious. I'm just waiting eagerly to see what clarinet does to come back from this. And right now, off the bat, they do have that Chaos Grip coming in to try to pull a little bit of Pinky in the back bad position while Devilish is going in the back lines, and that's exactly what clarinet wants, baiting out that Shifu push, again leading to that trap, leading to the attack. However, Devilish is still close enough to the team that it's not a problem. Big difference this time, though. First orb is going to clarinet. This is huge. Clarinet, however, still lost a lot of HP in the process. Clarinet losing a lot of HP in the process. I mean, Pinky is just finding value here and there, while at the same time, the same can't be said for the other side. Although, in the middle of that Grimoire, that is one difference. That's turning things around a little bit. That with that Grimoire, Devilish is now at half HP, but that's compared to quarter HP for you fools. And with you fools being stunned out and against the wall, one more hit and they're done. That is not the position you want to be as the front liner, especially as a Bako front liner. And you fools getting in-capped, getting clutch other-sided, but still, even that clutch other side is not necessarily going to be enough. If KJP goes down here, it could be, but it's essentially up to clarinet to manage to pull that off. Clarinet having to be the DPS and managing to do that. KJP goes down. Clarinet maybe the cross kill, but it looks like the Grimoire is going to stop that from being a problem as Pinky is caught in it with no escapes of whatsoever. And that is another round for clarinet. Close round, though. The start of the round, I wasn't so sure because they got caught out from the center again. They tried to push in right at the start, got pushed back, and especially as clarinet took all that damage near the middle of the round, I wasn't sure how that was going to go. It looked like clarinet was going to fall, and that'd just be it, but nope. Sorry, you fools. You fools are going to fall, but no, you fools was very smart about getting away from the problem, and clarinet was very smart about other siding exactly when they needed to, just when that tendon strike would happen. That tendon swing from Devilish could have been it. Well, the impale after the tendon swing in particular could have been it, and no. The other side was up, clarinet used it only when they needed to, and that was ideal. At this point, though, we are seeing an attempt at trying to start out the same way, Chaos Grip on a Pinky to pull them in to deal some damage, but that's not what's happening. However, what is happening, the Arcane Fire, is still quite effective. Again, Devilish being somewhat pulled in that back line as a result, but no real trap this time. Devilish just burning all their escapes, finding no damage in the process, while at the same time, we are seeing that backline push from you fools. They want KJP's blood. And if they go for it and manage to find it, that'll be effective, but at this point, you fools just took a lot of damage in the process of trying to do that, while their opponents are still very nearly at full HP. I mean, a small amount of healing will make that happen, and you fools, on the other hand, is essentially dead. Last round, this worked out in a very, very clutch way. This round is not going to be so lucky, as you fools does go down, and with that, it's going to be 2-2. Again, the round tying up. Pinky Kimchi managing to adapt through basically the Chaos Grip opening that we saw from Yaanae, and the follow-ups from there, and especially managing to adapt to the pressure being put on them by you fools. I mean, you fools with that Bako, great job there. I like that. That was a really cool way of doing it. I was curious when we'd see that. Didn't work. Nice try. Didn't work. So what I'd really like to see is, I don't know what I'd really like to see, actually. Devilish has been going the back lines, but that has not been as big of a deal. It's pretty clear that clarinet, while they know that they can try to punish Devilish, Devilish has never been in the back lines away from the team since round 1. So clarinet doesn't have the easy answer. And pushing aggressive in the back lines is also tricky because with the Taya there, that's a lot of damage dealt. That's a lot of stun dealt. I mean, Yaanae can't quite find the same amount of value as that in terms of overall area denial as we can with the Taya. So at this point, it's just difficult to make that work. I mean, Taya, like I said, the Wind Strike and the Wind Bombs, Esmo doesn't have that. But Esmo does, however, have the Grimoire, which is able to find enough damage to get Devilish in a bad position. And that is going to be Devilish being not even saved by the tornado. The Grimoire does hit in the first place. The Kunju is popped, but that again is a positioning, not positioning fail, but a positioning pull out. Devilish, one more shot away from death, not managing to get any value off of that Tempest Rush. And with that, they go down, and it's clarinet with the advantage. Again, it's going back and forth. And at this point, it looks like it'll be a 5-4 for clarinet if it continues this way. But it's going to be tricky. I mean, clarinet has managed to hold it so far. That round, though, Some of it came to Devilish being pulled away from the Kunju. That was a large part of it. That one play really defined the round. Everything prior to that was an even attrition match. Once Devilish got pulled out of position, that's when they could spring the trap. And I like that. Now, good use of when your opponent is countering. So I expect... I don't know what Devilish wants to do, though, because Devilish doesn't want to just lose that counter. Obviously, that just means they get free damage on them. Really, the thing I'd like to see, the thing it kind of have to do with that situation is just be careful about when you're throwing your counter if your opponents could trap you with it. But then again, if you have Fleetfoot, you can just Fleetfoot out of there. So a lot of it comes down to Devilish getting stuck in the back lines and then deciding to stay there. So I would like to see them Fleetfoot out of there if they get Kunju'd into an iffy position. Looks like this one they don't have Fleetfoot. They just use Fleetfoot, so if they drop another Kunju, they've got to be careful. Probably won't do it until they have Fleetfoot back, but... No, they don't have Fleetfoot back. They're in the back lines, but that was the right timing. That was exactly what they needed to do. The rest of their team, the opponent's team was not there. In particular, You Fools was not there. And now like Kunju is up. There's the Tempest Rush. There's the escape. Devilish maintaining a strong position and keeping enough of an HP lead of their own, but not as much for their team. Mostly because while Devilish has been staying alive effectively, Pinky has been taking all the damage. And with that, Pinky is going to have a very difficult time staying alive, especially as we see You Fools getting in there, getting strongly in there. KJP getting hit by the Grimoire with no easy way to escape. Not quite able to WASD their way out of there. And with that, it's just the HP advantage, 15% or so in favor of clarinet. That's one good combo away, but that's one good combo they have to pull off. That Pinky Kimchi has to pull off. And Devilish is in the back lines. Again, there's the Tending Swing, there's the setup. Clarinet, however, does not take much damage as a result. And at the same time, Companion Call being completely wasted. So both Devilish and Pinky not able to find mileage out of what could have been strong positions to start from. At this point, KJP trying to drop that Ancestral Spirit, finding what they can, and it's not much. What however, is being found is Devilish in the back lines, again, being put in an iffy position. Clarinet trying to help out a little bit, popping that Kunju, but that's fine. One more good hit will take out Devilish. And even if it doesn't, Devilish has such low HP that it's not even going to matter. The entire team is so low. If anyone goes down here, it is going to be over. But it's almost possible. No, it's not possible. There it is. I was about to say, it's almost possible for Pinky Kimchi to maybe get a kill on You Fools rapidly. But it's not happening. 4-2, clarinet, first time in this round, managing to find a 2-win lead. Either team managing to find a 2-win lead. Man, if clarinet keeps this up, that's going to be a 5-2 game. But it's kind of close, though. I mean, Devilish was playing very careful that round. Pinky was the one who was having a bit of a harder time staying in a strong position. They're going a little bit outside, they get a little beside their team, not so much behind their team, which is, of course, when you're dealing with a Shifu, it's hard to do. But that is something being taken advantage of, and I expect Pinky will be playing a touch more defensively. It's just hard to know how to do that. With Taya, you do have to be fairly close to your opponents if you want to actually deal the damage. And that's also a problem with You Fools in the back line, which looks like we are seeing Devilish try to punish You Fools for the forward approach, but You Fools just pulling back, which is exactly what you should do. Now, You Fools playing that perfectly well, but at the same time, You Fools is not finding the value from the damage. What they are finding the value in damage from is Devilish being forward and Devilish not pulling back, because the orb, it went over. It went over to Pinky Kimchi, and just the damage from the follow-up, damage from Devilish being in the back lines, again, as constantly happens, as Devilish just clearly does not have Fleetfoot. Finally getting the Tempest Rush out, but at that point, that was a quarter of their HP down. Pinky is okay. Their Companion Call managed to find a decent amount of value, but it's not enough. With Devilish down, there's no front line, as has always been, and unless damage can be done to You Fools right now, like right at this exact moment, which is not going to happen thanks to the in-caps, there is nothing that can be done. But maybe Yaanae. Yaanae might actually be the cross-kill opportunity or the kill opportunities in the first place. If Devilish goes down, Yaanae could die afterwards, or vice versa. So, Devilish is clearly trying to go for that. If that Kunju was popped, that could have been Yaanae's death, and honestly could be You Fool's death as well. The Grimoire, not managing to find much. KJP able to soul swap out of there. That is still not quite enough, but really it's not enough because Devilish got a bit forward, got a bit cocky, and got killed. With KJP down as well, and no clear cross-kill coming in against Yaanae, that is clarinet taking the upper bracket finals, going to the grand finals with the advantage of being in the upper bracket, so it's best of 3. I don't know if it's best of 3 with bracket reset, but it is best of 3 for the grand finals. So actually, I think that it will just be... I think it might actually just be a one round thing. I'll have to double check that. Still, though, it is going to be clarinet against Ennuy's chest hair. As Ennuy's chest hair has... Oh, no, sorry. Steakhouse versus Ennuy's chest hair. My bad. That'll be the next round. It'll be the lower bracket... Lower bracket pre-finals, as I like to call it. So I'll get that up as soon as it's up. But in the meantime, we'll take a short break as we're waiting for the match to be set up. So, yeah, here we have the full upper bracket. And now the lower bracket is in a reasonably strong position. And the lower bracket is going to be, of course, Steakhouse against Ennuy's chest hair. And then after that is going to be the winner of that versus, well, everything afterwards. So, we'll be back with that in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Battlerite fans. I'm your host, Dominic, as we enter the Battlerite Asia number 4 lower bracket pre-finals. It's going to be a match between Ennuy's chest hair, that's Tunni and I got vaxxed, against Steakhouse, that's Naddy, Plsh, and Lobsterlifer. Right off the bat, we already got some picks going. We have Naddy picking Paloma, Jade, Freya. That is going to be the team for Steakhouse. So, Jade in place of Plsh. Interesting. They clearly learned some lessons from the last match they played. That Paloma Jade is a very strong setup. And Croak Iva for Tunni, possibly Croak Iva Paloma, judging by the previous round they played. But I didn't see the first pick for Tunni. At any rate, this is going to be a best of one still. We have Banscar. So it's probably not that it's a little bit awkward. The grand finals is going to be best of 3. So the next couple matches is best of 1, then it's best of 3. So there's at least 4 more matches, 4 more maps left. Thank you, Tunni. So, yeah, Paloma Croak Iva versus Paloma Jade Freya. No surprises there. And with this, it's going to be fairly interesting. I think this is going to be a quite close match. I mean, as it always is, it kind of gets closer as the tournament progresses. Although, considering that was a 5-2 last time, it's hard to say. Feels like it is becoming, I guess, even for the first couple of rounds, and then it just tips one way or the other. I mean, clarinet really pushed that hard. The amount of damage they did off that trap setup. And it's one of the big reasons why you don't see a lot of hyper-aggressive play in Battlerite is that kind of fortress trap setup, that happens, and then you die. Mostly, like I said before, what we see at least in NA when it comes to highly aggressive setups is Xander. Xander, Jade, something. Because Xander will put out the damage amplification and Jade puts out the damage, both of them at range. It's not the same sort of push that you had with a serious Shifu back in the day, or even some of the stuff we're seeing now with like Shifu on top of Paloma. it's much more aggressive from the backlines. You're dealing a lot of damage, and you're trying to just break your opponent before they kill you. But it's really effective, because you do break your opponent before they kill you. Yeah, Xander's not that great of a healer, but does have quite a bit with Spotlight. However, it doesn't matter if your opponent's dead first. So it all works out. Anyway, with that, we do have what looks like a bit of a push towards Mount Arouse. No, not Mount Arouse Night. Mount Arouse Night's out. We are going to be on Skyring Day, or... No, not Skyring. Seriously? Or Blackstone Night. Yeah, Skyring Day or Blackstone Night. That's what's available. Okay, well, certainly going to be something unusual. This is not going to be the same sort of map we normally have. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, sorry. Skyring Day was the first band. Yeah, we are on Blackstone Night. Nothing hyper unusual. I mean, Skyring Day would have been quite a bit out there. But still, it is going to be a Blackstone Night. So the difference between Blackstone Night and Blackstone Day, for those of you not familiar, of course, is that the top part of the map, there's a little bar in between. There's a little wall where the pocket is and the other side of the map. Which means that that pocket in the northeast, or the top right and bottom left, that is going to be Death Trap City. You occasionally see people intentionally be kiting towards that, but almost always it's a pressure game. They got pushed back in there, and now they have no way out. And especially with the composition we see here, I mean, Jade has a way over the wall. Freya, I think, has a way over the wall. Paloma does not. And on the other side, Iva has a way over the wall. Croak has a way over the wall. Paloma does not. So it's going to be down to the support getting caught in that or not getting caught in that. So yeah, if the Paloma gets caught in the top right, bottom left, it is over. Totally over. What I want to see, though, is how we're going to see this Paloma Iva Croak setup when they have the Freya and Jade. And they have a setup that's essentially countering that aggression, countering the Croak. I mean, it's clear that that setup did work, because Ennui Chester has gotten to fourth place matchup, which is what this is effectively. But I still don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. Oops, this is lower bracket pre-mouse. I don't know, because it's a situation where Tunni, I mean, they probably had a fair amount of practice in the meantime with that Croak, setting that up properly, getting the backline properly addressed. It's just now they're against Steakhouse. And Steakhouse isn't really opening anything up for that. I mean, they're rematching against Steakhouse, I should say. And Ennui's Chest Hair, I'm curious how they're going to deal with this. Steakhouse is playing a different team this time around. They aren't playing with the Thorn. They aren't playing with the Varesh. It's Freya and Jade. And we already saw Steakhouse win 5-0. And now Lobsterlifer is playing Jade against Croak. I personally, I main Jade. And when I'm up against a Croak, I'm happy. Because Croak has to get in there. And in order to get in there, they camouflage. And the thing is, Blast Spot will deal with camouflage. Junk Shot will deal with camouflage. A decent read with a Snapshot will deal with camouflage. There's a lot of things that deal with camouflage that Jade has. And everything else, Jade doesn't need to worry about. Croak's just not going to get near her. The only other problem is dodging frog leaps. So there you go. As long as you can WASD around frog leaps, you're fine. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting setup. We already see Lobsterlifer just pushing forward along with Plsh, getting that center control and making sure that their opponents have to respect that. At the same time, though, Tunni not managing to get a whole lot of mileage out of that first camouflage, and ultimately, though, does manage to get a fair amount of mileage out of the frog leap, putting, oh man, completely destroying Naddy off the bat. Holy crap, Ennui's Chest Hair, they've found something. In the entire lower bracket, they figured things out. Apparently, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what the adaptation is, because there's going to be an adaptation, of course. But, wow. We did not see Ennui's Chest Hair have anywhere near the level of success against Steakhouse that we just saw right there. That was kind of terrifying. And again, nothing has changed other than the map, which is no longer Blackstone Day, it's now Blackstone Night. So also the other difference being that this these walls here are rotated, so it's a bit easier to get in the center in Blackstone Night than Blackstone Day, but it's much harder to go around the sides. And I almost feel like that's helping because Tunni isn't being tempted to go around the sides and the bottom. They have to go with their team. But now they're with their team, so they're getting their flanking. They're getting what I wanted in the first place, which is I got vaxxed, helping support when someone gets stunned. Someone gets stunned, they get shot. When they get shot, they hit the damage. And when that happens, they melt and die. And that has been Naddy's story. Last round's Naddy's story. This round it looks like slightly Naddy's story as well. And those frog leaps, that is being the big part of this. Like, just the amount of damage being dealt, and Plsh just cannot help them. I mean, they're trying and actually doing a decent job now. That end cap on the wall did a very nice job putting some respect into the mind of Tunni. But it almost doesn't matter. Those frog leaps are all they need. And with the Deceit up and down, still, Tunni's got the health advantage, or rather, the team's got the health advantage. Tunni's not so much got the health advantage. Tunni's got to be super careful. But at the same time, the health advantage has been there, and while Tunni may not have it, I Got Vax certainly does. And if Naddy goes down, Naddy gets hit a couple more times, they are done. And while that's happening, Tunni managed to get their HP back up, so they're going to be in a position where they can very easily pull this back into a win. And Naddy is completely dead thanks to the machine gun. Plsh also taking boatloads of damage in the process. So another round very likely going over to Ennui's chest hair. Right off the bat, we're seeing Ennui's chest hair has found the way that they're going to play this. They're sticking together. They're making sure not to do something super risky. Tunni is going in with their team. I Got Vaxxed is able to help out as well. So whatever they figured out during the lower brackets, they made it work. And now they're 2-0 against the team that 5-0'd them handily the first time they met. Now, at this point, what I'm seeing as well, like, Naddy is being kind of forward. I get that they are being disrupted by Tunni, but I'm noticing when they're being disrupted, Naddy tends to be closer to the center, closer to the forward. Like, they're not letting Plsh get in between them and the Croak. They're not letting Lobsterlifer get between them and the Croak. They're kind of running into it head first. Right now, they're in a good position, but we'll see as the pressure rises, as Tunni gets in the back lines, it's a little bit tricky. Right now, the Tunni actually not going for Naddy, which I do not agree with. They are doing it now, getting in the back lines and dealing some damage, and there's the flank from I Got Vaxxed, exactly as I was talking about earlier. And that was the damage they needed. But prior to that, it was not as safe, and I was not sure where Tunni was going with that, but now I realize they wanted to get the distraction, get that back line pull, and now the HP advantage is so strongly in favor of Ennui's chest hair that I think, other than Lobsterlifer maybe pulling off a strong snapshot, it's not even going to work. Naddy being forced to burn that other side, and that leaves their Freya out in the dirt. There's nothing really they can do. They've lost all their outs, and that means they're done. And Naddy, very likely the next to go. They're the clear, obvious target. You know, the healer. Get rid of them first. Why not? And indeed they are. Lobsterlifer staying in a decent enough position, but Lobsterlifer has been playing very forward from their team. They haven't really been back. I'm not sure they've been using a lot of smoke veils, and I haven't seen... I've seen, okay, so a few smoke veils for themselves. But I haven't seen a whole lot of team smoke veils, as much as just general, I'm getting attacked, I'll stealth up. And I feel like that's where it's coming in. Like, really, Tunni is getting the disruption they want. Like, Tunni, it's all, like, that's what you want with a Croak, is for the backline to be so disrupted that the team cohesion breaks down, and that means that the Croak can have a field day. And with that Iva there providing extra support damage, they're together having a field day. So there you go. Like, that was what I wanted to see in that first match with Tunni and I Got Vaxxed working together as a cohesive unit. Now we're seeing that, and whenever we see that happen, somebody dies. Somebody dies in a very convincing way. At this point, though, it's pretty clear that Lobsterlifer is staying by Naddy. They want to make sure that their teammate is in a good position, and they want to protect them as best they can. Well, taking out Chill fairly well with that nice snipe coming in. And another snipe, oof, going wide. Not able to nail Tunni as the Frog Leap does get out of the way in time. But I Got Vaxxed is totally separated. Tunni coming in to try to help out a bit, but that just leads to Chill being separated. Sorry, yeah, Chill being separated. That was exactly right. And with Chill being separated, there's a bit more damage on them. And while Plsh is taking the damage as far as Steakhouse is concerned, that's not entirely the worst thing in the world. Not with the shields that they can build up. However, no, the flamethrower on top... Okay, that is a difference. That is where things will turn out badly for Naddy, as they are being completely torn apart. The Venom Wind not being timed out against properly with the the Spirit Guide. And that is going to be it. Round 4, match point going for Onwee's chest hair. Oh, nice attempt on the ultimate. Very nice soul transfer to stop it. Chill staying in the match, not letting the cross kill happen on them. And really, not let... Ooh, no, never mind. The cross kill still does happen on them, but that's fine. Lobsterlifer is so close to death. Unless Plsh can kill off I Got Vaxxed immediately, or Lobsterlifer can nail a snipe on I Got Vaxxed, it's still going to be very likely Tunni's game. Or, Tunni's game. I'm saying as if the team. Onwee's chest hair's game. And that is indeed match point for Onwee's chest hair. Still, though, that round, I saw a much better cohesion coming out from Steakhouse. They've gotten more used to dealing with Tunni in the back lines. They were, like, near the beginning, Tunni went around the back, and like I said, Lobsterlifer was there. Lobsterlifer was keeping Naddy alive as best they can. Plsh was in the front, but that was the thing. Plsh was just distracting. It did start to turn around once Naddy got pulled out of position, and Lobsterlifer also got, like, there was still a bit of mispositioning later on. But early on, with Lobsterlifer near Naddy and Plsh also near enough, and as we're seeing now as well, it worked out for then, but Plsh again running forward, and at least their Paloma is not getting damage this time. Tunni is being distracted. The peel is working. This is exactly what Plsh wants. They're making sure that there is that backline pressure, and they're making sure that they're forcing their opponents to get in the backline, but at the same time, Tunni's just decided, you know what? Cool. My team can deal with that. Let's keep going. I'm not sure they're right, though. Chill's taking a lot of damage, as does Tunni. In fact, this could be the round that puts Steakhouse on the board. And very well looks like it will be. I Got Vaxxed so close to death. Lobsterlifer could go down with one good camouflage that I Got Vaxxed helping out there. And that cannonball as well for the in-cap. Very nicely done there, but that's not enough. That is I Got Vaxxed down. Tunni will shortly follow. Or Chill, one or the other. The cross kill not quite coming through as the other side does stop any attempt at a camouflage to make that Venom Wind do its job. So Lobsterlifer still in the match. And this 2v1, or 2v3 rather, is going to very quickly become a 1v3, which is very quickly going to become Steakhouse on the board after 4 rounds, stopping match point from becoming a 5-0 sweep in the lower brackets, getting them completely eliminated. But wow, the amount of work that had put into that. And it almost felt like a lot of that was really just I Got Vaxxed got a little bit caught out. Like early on, I Got Vaxxed didn't seem to find anywhere near the value I thought they would. And at the same time, like I said, the entire team of Steakhouse was together. They were pushing forward as a unit. Plsh went back a few times, went into the back lines a few times. And when they did, they hit Chill for about half HP. And then they got I Got Vaxxed afterwards. And ultimately, it just led to enough pressure and led to enough separation that the damage was done. But at this point, though, we are seeing more the classic setup. This is exactly what Onwee's chest hair wants. Naddy taking the damage, Lobsterlifer forced to front line, and the very nice Spirit Rift coming out there. Perfectly done by Chill. And with the orb going over to Onwee's chest hair, this should be a win so long as they manage to maintain a positive attrition. Man, it's a bit of a tall ask. One good combo will turn that around, and that good snipe is the start of a good combo. Tunni taking bullets damage as a result. Forced to retreat completely, and they're the croak. They can't really retreat and be useful. Machine Gun coming in to at least manage to sort of compensate, but it's not quite enough. Now Tunni and I Got Vaxxed are in terrible position, and with Chill being knocked down by the Thunderstrike, it could very well go down. Another snipe coming in, nailing Chill. That's 3 snipes for Lobsterlifer. They must be having the time of their life this round. Apart from the fact that they just got torn apart a little bit. Not enough, though. It's still a 2 full HP advantage in favor of Steakhouse. That is going to be Steakhouse probably... Steakhouse is not probably. Steakhouse is definitely taking this round. It is 4-2 in favor of Onwee's chest hair, but Steakhouse is gaining momentum to take them out and stop this revenge sweep. And certainly stopped a sweep from coming up. But, I mean, a lot of that was that Steakhouse, I mean, they did play it safe. Lobsterlifer got it. Like I said, a lot of really good snipes there. If we see Tunni or I Got Vaxxed just watch out for the snipes a little bit more, then it'll turn around. If those snipes don't land, the HP isn't there, the stun isn't there, or the damage isn't there, the stun isn't there, the combos aren't there, and that means that Tunni can move around. They lost a lot of HP early on thanks to snipe. Like, thanks to a snipe stunning them out and allowing them to be comboed a little bit by Plsh. If that doesn't happen, then Tunni can have much more freedom to maneuver the battlefield, as, of course, they'd like to. At this point, that's very clear. Both teams are being careful. Steakhouse trying to stay back, but Plsh just can't help but push into the back lines. That opens things up. We're seeing Naddy getting hit. That's really the thing that Tunni wanted, just to get Plsh out of the way so that Naddy or Lobsterlifer can be taken out. Unless Plsh just happens to be the better target because the rest of the team's going for it. Really chill, however, taking all the damage. This is where we saw where we saw Steakhouse take out Onwee's chest hair last time. Was on the damage onto Chill, the gradual damage that just happened to outdo the damage that they took. And again, a third round going in favor of Steakhouse. The adaptations have been made. Tunni is not quite finding the positions they want. Naddy is playing far more carefully, and the rest of their team is not letting them out of their sight. That has been the adaptation to make this round work. And really to make this entire map turn around and possibly lead to a reverse sweep coming out from Steakhouse. Of course, it's not over yet. Steakhouse, they still have a little bit... there is still the possibility that Tunni will find what they need to find when they need to find it. It does come down to very small opportunity windows. Naddy happens to be one character like that out of position, and then the camouflage can come in. Or I Got Vaxxed happens to just be on the right side as a camouflage is available. It's tiny little things that are going to leave the openings for Naddy to take the damage, or for Plsh to take the damage. Not for Lobsterlifer. Lobsterlifer, in the rounds that have been won, Lobsterlifer typically isn't the focus. But they might be. It's just that hasn't typically happened. This one, though, Naddy is again clearly the focus by I Got Vaxxed, but there's Plsh in the front lines being torn apart a little bit, but the other side to save them and really keep them from losing too much max HP. So nicely done, Naddy. However, that other side being down does mean there's not much keeping Naddy alive. The Spirit, or the Soul Rift does, or the Soul Drain does nothing. Spirit Rift also doing nothing on the other side, but Plsh taking all this damage in the front line, not managing to find as much value out of it as well. Tunni, while they did take some damage thanks to the snipe, the real story here is that Chill, but Soul Transfer on Chill, keeping them alive, and that machine gun as well. All that damage on the machine gun, on top of the Thunderstrike finding nothing. If Tunni wasn't torn apart by being stunned, if they managed to get that orb, it would have been a bit of a different story here, but even then, Tunni, if they're playing this safe enough, they can still take this round. We are seeing a bit of separation here. Lobsterlifer getting just getting tagged a little bit, not too much. But, here and there, we are seeing Tunni find those opportunities. Seeing the tiny little plays that are going to make this work, but it's a matter of making them consistent, and I do think Tunni is finding them. Especially now that we have that machine gun coming in there, pulling pretty much everyone down, down another quarter of their total HP. However, this is split. That's the big thing to focus on here. There is still a 15% advantage for total HP in favor of Steakhouse. And and that's the thing, is that Steakhouse, if they don't lose that, Onwee's chest hair is just going to be worn out. And that's exactly what happens. I Got Vaxxed being taken out just by a gradual attrition. Last ditch ever to get in here, but it's not enough. The other side does save Lobsterlifer from the Venom Wind, and with that, there isn't really a whole lot of momentum available. Tunni doesn't have camouflage available, and that means they don't have any easy way of dealing damage before they go down, and with that, it is evened out. Steakhouse set up for a reverse sweep. That will be heartbreaking for Onwee's chest hair. I mean, I realize they're not really a team that scrims together a lot, but the way that they've been playing this early on, the way they started out, it looked like they were just going to take this. And Steakhouse, they've learned to play extremely carefully. And I feel like at the same time, Onwee's chest hair forgot a few of the lessons they learned about how to get Tunni in the right position at the right time. They clearly were getting a little bit used to teams that were not quite as on point with their positioning and not quite as careful about where they placed their healers or how they moved. And that's something which we're seeing might be a bit of a problem, but at the same time, Lobsterlifer is taking the damage, and Tunni isn't putting themselves as far forward. Now they put themselves forward, but they've done it in a way that has been giving them value. Naddy is taking the damage. There's the blast vault that I was talking about right before the match started. The blast vault stopping the camouflage from doing anything. And what, Tunni? Why did you frog leap in there? That snapshot putting Tunni on the back foot. And at the very least, there is that deceit. That'll open things up a little bit. Lobsterlifer being taken out by the camouflage stun. That opens up for an end cap. That opens up for I Got Vaxxed to deal some damage. And the flamethrower as well, however, on the shields, does manage to get the orb through the shield, but it didn't deal any meaningful damage. That's the thing with Freya. You cannot touch them when they have shields, otherwise you're just burning your energy. Yeah, I realize it's a flamethrower, but doesn't go through the shields. However, there's still an opportunity. One good combo will do it, but chill. Ooh, that other side going off just the worst time. However, Plsh getting tagged by that rocket at the very end, and this is the opening that Anui's chest hair needs to win this. That incapacitate loop on top of the stun, on top of the damage from the post-camouflage swings. Naddy is just about down. Lobsterlifer might go down afterwards, but this is the position that will give Anui's chest hair the game, stopping the reverse sweep in his tracks right at the last second, and keeping Steakhouse from going to the lower bracket finals to face off against the last tournament's champions, Pinky Kimchi. Nicely done, Anui's chest hair. They found the momentum they needed. They found the position they needed. They figured out those tiny opportunities that just eked out the win. Getting, like I said, it's attrition. Tunni gets the camouflages exactly when they need to. It's tiny opportunities, but that's all they need. And they take it. So with that, Anui's chest hair goes on to fight for first place, really. Steakhouse getting 4th place. So Anui's chest hair, nicely done. Very, very nicely done. So yeah, at this point, it's kind of funny too, because Chill is actually on deck for being a second caster. I don't think that might happen for grand finals. Maybe. I don't know. I seriously doubt it, because at this point, they might very well beat Pinky Kimchi, go on to the grand finals. At which point, it's like, okay, solo cast. Full way solo cast. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate that they were on deck to actually handle this, but yeah. Chill is playing out of their minds, so I'm not going to begrudge them at all. This is actually pretty cool. Of course, the question now is, should I go for a break? Because it looks like it is going to be likely sorted out pretty quickly, but at this point, I think we'll just get on to what will likely be the last or second to last break of this entire tournament as we wait for the losers finals. And then following that will be the grand finals. This will be very end of the Battlerite Asia number 4 tournament. These are the last 3 or 4 maps of the Battlerite Asia number 4 tournament, starting in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Battlerite fans. I'm your host, Dominic, for the Battlerite Asia number 4 tournament as we are in the lower bracket finals. This is going to be a match between Anwi's chest hair and Kinky Kimchi. Anwi's chest hair is a group of people who just sort of hang out in Discord and some casters. Pinky Kimchi, the best Asian team, or at least the winner of the previous Battlerite Asia tournament and the top seed for this tournament. Very strong team here. Against what really is a complete upset. Anwi's chest hair, they lost against Steakhouse in the upper bracket and then got knocked down and ended up just burning all the way through the lower bracket. And, you know, the lower bracket was full of a wide range of skill levels, so it wasn't clear entirely whether or not that was just because it was a wide range of skill levels and Anwi's chest hair was above all that, or, as we can see, that Anwi's chest hair has actually figured out a whole lot of how to deal with this meta. Like, their setup, the Tunni in the back of the Croak and the Iva flanking when I got vaxxed, that was doing a great job against, again, Steakhouse. The team that beat them in the first place, getting, I mean, really 5-4. It wasn't the complete sweep, but it almost was. It was 4-0 before it became 5-4. I don't think Pinky Kimchi is going to fall for the same thing because Pinky Kimchi is playing an aggressive strategy themselves. Or at least they have been. I mean, we do have on the champ picks, it is going to be a, oh no, it's going to be Paloma Shivatea. Yeah, this is exactly the same as before. Everything is the same as what it was last time we saw these teams. Oops, I got this backwards. So that's the thing, is that this is going to be a match that is not what we've seen thus far from Anwi's chest hair. We've seen them up against defensive teams. We've seen them up against teams that rely on having a strong backline presence and a strong frontline presence to make sure the backline presence doesn't die. But now we're seeing a team that doesn't rely on that. They rely on making your backline presence moot. Now, that's really more a matter of Chill. How Chill is going to deal with this. How they can push off Devilish. Because Tunni's going to be probably trying to get in the backline to deal with KJP. I don't think they're going to be trying to deal with anyone else too badly. They might go back to defend Devilish, but I think they'll be I got vaxxed rule. Them and Chill probably just help trap Devilish when they go forward. But overall, this is going to be an aggressive team versus an aggressive team. This is not what we've seen Anwi's chest hair be built against. And Pinky Kimchi, on the other hand, I mean, they're mechanically strong. They've been doing a fine job with this team thus far. They had a bit of a hard time against the trap play that was coming out from clarinet, because that was entirely tailored to deal with this more aggressive style of play, and that's not what we're seeing coming out from Anwi's chest hair. So I think Pinky Kimchi is coming in with the advantage, both by the way the strategies are being played out, and also just by general mechanical and team cohesion skill. But that remains to be seen, because really Tunni could go back and try to disrupt, and kind of a question of, will Devilish disrupt more than Tunni, or Tunni more than Devilish? And Tunni going in the back lines, setting up that trap as well. They realize that Devilish is going to go aggressive no matter what. So just stay near enough their team that if needs arise, they can go back and help things. And that's exactly what's happening again. Devilish coming in again. The stun combo, nicely done between the taser and the camouflage, getting Devilish down to half HP. Actually putting Devilish in a very tricky position. I'm not sure how sustainable this is over the course of the entire game, but at the very least, we're seeing Tunni find that tiny little advantage, the tiny little window to get KJP down to 3/4 HP at very little cost to themselves. I mean, Chill is taking a fair amount of damage, but it's being answered twofold. No problem. However, now Tunni is being turned around. It's not their turn to fight anymore, as that Tendon Swing coming in there, but other side from Chill making sure that that's not a problem. And with this, overall, Tunni has just been playing this beautifully. They're playing as well as they were in the last round against Steakhouse, which is where they totally adapted to Steakhouse, dealing with Tunni's slight bullshit. I mean, Tunni was getting in the back and doing some stuff that wasn't really all that not cheesy. Like, it was pretty cheesy stuff. And now they've learned to play this a lot safer. But Chill, that's the key weakness potentially here, is that if Chill goes down, it doesn't matter how well Tunni is playing. It doesn't matter how well I got Vax helps flank. What happens at that point is now they're running a war of attrition with no reserves. And this is going to be Pinky Kimchi very likely taking this first round unless some miracle happens. But since KJP is nowhere near being a cross-kill opportunity, I do not see that miracle happening. Pinky Kimchi, they were pushed back very quickly at the start. Devilish getting knocked at the beginning, getting their Kunju popped not intentional, but just getting pushed back. And Tunni coming in with a camouflage twice to put Devilish in an awkward position and deal a lot of damage. Very nicely done. It's just Chill got caught out. If Chill is a bit safer in the back lines, doesn't get hit by Pinky or Devilish, or actually double check with KJP. No, it's mostly Pinky and Devilish. If that doesn't catch out Chill, they're fine. If that does catch out Chill, there's a problem. But I think that now we're seeing Chill being a little bit further back. Tunni actually being kind of aggressive, but there's Devilish. Unfortunately, not quite able to get Devilish with the camouflage, and actually getting separated quite a bit. Chill, again, not in the best position, still kind of front-liney, and Devilish able to take advantage of that, though Tunni at the same time getting KJP far, far harder than Chill was gotten at all. But now Chill being hyper-aggressive. This is the thing. Chill is playing aggressive Paloma. That is a tricky Paloma to play, especially when you're playing against an aggressive comp with a Shifu on board. And that means that they're not in the best positions to help out with their Iva, and now they're not in the best positions to help out themselves. But it is still 2v3. If Chill is not the cross kill, or I got vaxxed, it could work. But the orb did go over to Pinky Kimchi, which means that Pinky Kimchi, they have that health. They have potentially the setup, but ooh, Pinky themselves, they don't have any escapes. They've got, oh, never mind. No, Zephyr. Not quite a saving escape, but at the same time, it does at least give a little bit back. However, that's not enough. With this, we see that as long as Envy's chest hair doesn't get too cocky, and as long as Chill doesn't get too aggressive, it can work. They're able to take this and actually able to win rounds. Devilish clearly waiting for an opportunity to throw out something. I mean, they have their ultimate. They could throw out the Whirling Blades or the Tempest Rush just to try to keep themselves alive, which is likely what they're trying to do. And there's the Whirlwind, but ultimately not enough. Not when you have the Taser coming out there. And that is evening out the rounds. Envy's chest hair on the board. I don't think it's going to be a big issue here. I don't know. This is... Oh, Tunni. Right, not Tunni. Right, Tunni. My bad. Anyway, Tunni, as in the Canadian $2 coin currency, Tunni is going to be a... Actually, that's not what it says, and it's 2-ni is in the thing in your leg. But yeah, Tunni is... Like I said, they're really the ones I'm looking at here. Tunni and Chill. And Chill right now taking a fair bit of damage, but Tunni getting KJP once again in the back line, really sticking on a KJP as well, and not a whole lot is available. The Tornado should be up to save them, but even then, the Tornado finally, when it gets up, KJP is already at a quarter HP. Well, after Tunni went back in with the Frog Leap, but that's fine. KJP is now in a bad spot. Devilish in the front, but Devilish essentially is playing frontline, not playing Disruption. I got Vax taking some damage, but that orb healing up quite a bit of it, and while the advantage overall, it still stays in favor of Pinky Kimchi, considering the total percentages. As long as Iva Vax doesn't take the damage and stays in the back line, they're fine, especially when you consider that... Oh, wait, no. No, that was Chill. That was Chill going down. That was Aggro Paloma. We don't see a lot of Aggro Paloma. And I don't think this composition really supports Aggro Paloma. I think it kind of supports Aggro Paloma, but I think it's not the safest setup for a Paloma. And that's why, because Chill gets out in the front lines, and I got Vaxxed and Tunni, they're going out in other parts of the map. It just doesn't help. Like, Tunni isn't there to camouflage, to stun. Neither is I got Vaxxed. They can't taser. So Chill is entirely relying on getting the Spirit Rifts perfect, or getting really good soul transfers, or Spirit Guiding out of there, or having other side up. And the other side means that their teammate doesn't get to the other side, and the soul transfer, that's not necessarily the best option, depending on the opponent's position. If it pulls you into the opponent's group, it doesn't help you any. So it doesn't really put Chill in a great spot to actually get out of dodge. And again, like we see here, Fleetfoot coming out exactly on time to stop the Spirit Rift from doing anything. And that's the thing, is that you can't easily stop someone from being sticky on you as Paloma unless you're really good with your reads. And at this level, they know you're going to be throwing out the Spirit Rifts and Soul Drains, and they're ready for them. We saw right there. We got one panic, but for the most part, it didn't really do much. Still, though, while it's been happening, Tunni has been getting the value in, as has the Iva. I mean, that's the thing. I got Vax able to get Pinky down. The cross kill, however, being prepared, but there's the cannonball to stop it. Shield being saved by the teammate, possibly killed by the teammate right afterwards, thanks to popping the Kunju. But Actually, no. Very clutch there, but it worked. Chill able to get the soul drain right off the orb, keeping them barely alive, but barely is still alive. They're not dead. And Devilish is fighting a 1v3 with basically nothing. They have meter, but they have hardly any HP. If they get the cross kill on Chill, that'll at least be a nice consolation prize, but it won't even give them the round. So at this point, we are 2-2 again. Onmi's chest hair, giving Pinky Kimchi a bit of a run for their money. So this is the thing. I was talking about Aggro Paloma, right? Well, that wasn't quite so Aggro Paloma, but we also see that Chill does know how to take care of themselves, which is likely why they're playing Aggro Paloma. They know how to take care of themselves, so they figure, I can just push forward, and I can deal the damage, and sometimes they can. Frighteningly, sometimes they really can, or at least can disrupt things. That was one of those rounds. It kind of had to be near the end, but it ultimately worked out to be because Chill was able to just get those soul drains out and able to stay alive as a result. Like, Devilish was really hungry for that kill, and Chill knew it. At this point, though, whether or not Devilish remains hungry for that kill is yet to be seen. I don't even think this is... I mean, Tunni's able to get out of there, but I don't know how well it's going to work out overall. With the orb going again over to Pinky Kimchi, there's pretty much a massive health advantage that's very one-way. Devilish might be able to take out Tunni right here if they manage to pull it off with KJP, and that's exactly what they're trying to do, but that soul drain completely dodged. And with this positioning, Pinky is kind of open. And, oof, Pinky is open. Devilish is out of position completely. There is not a whole lot going on in favor of Onmi's chest hair apart from that, but that might be enough. If Pinky does go down, that's still enough, but Tunni would be the cross-kill opportunity. In fact, Tunni or Chill, there are so many cross-kill opportunities here that it's Pinky Kimchi's game, or at least Pinky Kimchi's round. It was close at the start, but once it started getting the attrition onto Tunni, once the separation started happening, once Chill was taking the damage, it was just an attrition game. That's all it was. Pinky got a good combo or two on them, but that was it. There was nothing that was actually going to save any of the team because the team was separated. So, worth a shot, but at this point we are seeing Pinky Kimchi 2 rounds away from victory, and I feel like Onmi's chest hair, they're having a bit of an uphill battle out for them, just for how difficult it is to maintain cohesion while trying to go in the back line with the camouflage and stun out your opponents. At this point, it's really, I feel like it's just coming down to, like I said, minor opportunities, execution things. Noticing that your opponents are just that little bit out of position that you can take advantage of. And they don't have their outs up. But that combination of factors, it's a very situational, very clutch thing that this level players know it. They are playing for it, but it's a question of how well they can play for it. And this time they did very effectively, taking Devilish down to half HP. The Devilish is able to build up a little bit from there, but still, at half HP, they can only do so much when their opponents are in a slightly better position overall. But it's only, actually, even then, it's just parity, pretty much. In fact, good combos coming in here onto I Got Vaxxed means that is no longer the case. I Got Vaxxed can still run sort of front line, but Iva being what they are, they can't go that far in the front line, but the deceit coming in, there it is, KJP taking the damage. Pinky really is the target. The separation of their healer is enough, but no, I Got Vaxxed did not go with their team again. It's a tiny little bit of coordination that Pinky Kimchi is able to take advantage of and tear apart Onmi's chest hair. I mean, it's those tiny things. It's just, as we see, I Got Vaxxed is out of position and gets torn apart. It's the team has not practiced together as much as any of these other teams. Like I said, it's a bunch of really strong solo queue players that are just they're just big in the Discord. They're really involved with this stuff. They're actually watching this stream right now and chatting a lot as well. It's like they're really involved with the Battlerite Asia community, but they themselves don't play as a team very much. The fact they've gotten this far is amazing, but Pinky Kimchi clearly has that cohesion advantage on them and is taking full advantage of it. Still, though, it is a situation where it's theoretically manageable. Like, theoretically, maybe Onmi's chest hair can pull this back. It does feel a little bit close, mind you, but I do see how Onmi's chest hair could make this work. The thing is, with Onmi's chest hair, they have to be very, like I said, they have to be very careful because it's a croak. Not much you can do with a croak, who just committed suicide, I think accidentally. That did not look intentional. I don't think they were forfeiting. I think they were trying to sneak around the wall, and there just wasn't enough floor to work with. Still, though, that does happen in sudden death, so you gotta take it, I suppose. Anyway, with that being said, match point. It's match point, and that's the thing, is we don't have... I don't know how many more adaptations Anui's Chester can do when their entire game plan revolves around essentially just disruption while Chill doesn't die. And Chill, very quickly the focus. I mean, Pinky, to an extent, using that as a bait to try to get Pinky damaged, but at the same time, it's just the positioning, again, massively in favor of putting Pinky Kimchi into the next round, because they have enough cohesion, but at the same time, Pinky is being torn apart by Tunni, so it could still work if the clutch... Ooh, the clutch is not committed to KJP. Tunni is such low HP that they can't really go forward. Can't really just rush. They can't really face roll in here, and they get face rolled in the process. That is Pinky Kimchi taking it 5-2. KJP might be a cross kill, which would be a pretty good cross kill to have, but it's not enough. In fact, it doesn't even manage to happen. So, I am very impressed by Anui's Jester making it to third place. They were not anywhere near predicted to make it this far, but they did. Well done. 5-2, that puts Pinky Kimchi up in the upper bracket again in the grand finals. They are going to be rematching against clarinet. So, I mean, hey, if Chill, if I want to cast, I guess they have grand finals to cast in. There you go. But yeah, speaking of grand finals, there it is. It is a grand finals. Oops. The grand finals for clarinet and Pinky Kimchi, which was expected, though clarinet being in the top was not quite as expected. And we already have clarinet in here. Thank you. I very much appreciate that. Clarinet's already in the lobby, just waiting to be pulled in. Because, I mean, they knew one way or the other they had to be in. Like, one way or the other, they were playing next. At any rate, I'm looking at clarinet. We already saw before, it's defensive. Super defensive. It pretty much counters exactly what Pinky Kimchi's doing. Remember, this is best of 3, so it has 2 maps that can work with, potentially 3. Hard to say whether or not it will be necessarily 2 similar maps, like it's going to be something like Blackstone Day and Mount Raz Night, or if it's going to be something like Scouring Night and probably an Ormond, but you know, if there was that too. Could be. It's almost happened a couple times. Picking the last 3 maps, Ormond could come up. So overall, thinking it's really going to come down to map picks. And whether or not it's possible for the players in those map pick situations, like with that trap versus aggressive potential. I mean, smaller map probably would help the more aggressive potential. Larger map doesn't really help Shifu all that much. Anyway, Palomas are being picked at first, because of course they are. At the same time, not sure what's going to happen with that, so... Yeah, Palomas, like I said, we saw before it was Paloma, Taya, Shifu coming out from Pinky Kimchi. At the same time, it is going to be kind of curious what we see from clarinet. Like, I think clarinet is going to be going for something similar. That was before, the Bako and Esma. Oh yeah, Bako Esma. There's Paloma, Bako Esma versus Paloma, Taya, and Rokan. Ooh, whoa. Right, Rukan's a character in this game. Forgot about that. But they do exist. So, yeah. Cool. I haven't seen Rukan in a very long time. And it looks like we are actually, as a side note, going to be having Chill join us. Where is that friend request? Yo. Okay, so 1 sec. Need to sort out audio.
Okay, let me know when you do.
I just did. Well, here we are. Welcome back, everyone. We have Chill. We have Chill.
Hi, everybody.
They're going to be helping me out here.
The one who just lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you did well. I got to be honest. I'm sure you were watching the stream, but yeah, I'm really impressed.
Yeah. Thanks. I did my best. It's hard against Devilish, chasing me all the time.
That was especially impressive, that you did manage to survive as long as you did. I mean, Aggro Paloma in that setup was kind of tricky. I did point out when I was casting it that essentially I liked the idea of your composition except against Pinky Kimchi, because the composition you had was like entirely perfect to deal with Fortress, to deal with the very defensive style most people are playing, and then Pinky Kimchi just does not do that. So the adaptations were good.
The problem was that a lot of us were like one tricks, and so that was the only combo that we had.
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It is playable the way you were playing it, because you did play it in a way that was a bit more aggressive and trying to find
aggressive. Yeah,
it was not just aggressive, but also Tunni would be aggressive when they needed to be, and they got in the back lines and got some damage, or when there was an opportunity that presented itself. And then when Devilish came in, they'd pull right back and try to take out Devilish and trap them.
Yeah. That was what happened. Actually, in the first the 2 rounds that we won, Devilish was chasing after Ivor and I. And after that, they adapted, and Devilish was peeling for his team. And that proved to be too difficult for us to overcome, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's doable, but yes, with Croak, that is hard to do, because Croak really wants that disruption in the back line.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, we have the map itself and the match itself, so it looks like we're going to be on... Have they picked yet? It looks like they've got enough bands.
At least a couple maps left.
Yeah, so at this point, we have Blackstone Day as one of the maps. Which is no
I think
surprise.
Dragon Knight is still available as well.
Not anymore.
That's the Dragon Knight pick. Yeah, I mean banned, sorry.
Yep. No one plays Dragon.
No one plays Dragon.
Well, it's the 3v3 design map, but it's so big that it's like melee can't do anything, so no one plays Dragon.
Yeah, that's fair. It is too big, I think. Could probably make it a little smaller, and maybe it'll be picked a bit more.
Well, that's kind of what Dragon Knight did, but I know what you mean, though. That's just this giant corridor, nothing in the way.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's what Dragon Knight is, actually. Because Dragon Day is definitely too big.
Oh,
for most comms, at least.
No, there's no surprise that Dragon Day is never played, just because of that. But, I mean, that does work, so... There you go. At any rate, we are getting into the match itself. Pinky Kimchi against Clarinet on Blackstone Day. Pinky Kimchi, like I said, they got Devilish on Rukan, not Shifu, which we don't ever see. I forgot Rukan was in this game.
Yeah, Rukan has been like missing for most of the time these past couple of patches, and Devilish is pretty well known for his Rukan actually before Rukan got nerfed. So it's a strong pick for him. It's a comfort pick, I think. I'm not sure if he has been practicing with Rukan recently, but it's definitely one of his strongest heroes or champions.
That's good to know, because at the same time we have You Fools and Bako as they had been before. Like, we see Clarinet playing the exact composition they had before that just tore Pinky Kimchi to shreds. And I'm guessing that
Devilish
on
the Bako was amazing.
Oh yeah, they were just on that disruption. Like, the way they were playing was the way that I was seeing Tunni play as well. Like, that push forward when you need to, pull back when you need to, or actually the way Tunni was playing is the way I wanted to see You Fools playing. And I think they're going to have to now, because I don't think Devilish is going to be rushing forward the way they were. Not as Rukan. They don't have to.
Yeah, he can just hook them in.
Exactly. Mind you, the good Wasden coming out from You Fools to stop that from happening. And, ooh, nice wall push, as that is going to put Devilish in a slightly awkward position. The orb, however, is still taken by Pinky Kimchi, and that does mean that while some damage has been dealt, is not as much as it could be. However, no permanent HP loss from Clarinet thus far.
Yeah, Clarinet is doing a very good job in keeping the blue team out of the center and just absolutely controlling the fight right now.
And that is leading the War Stomp, leading the Grimoire. That, Devilish getting torn apart as best as they could. Pinky's the only one able to take that without taking any damage in the process. And with that, looks like Devilish is going to be torn to pieces.
Yeah, it's almost down. Oh, still barely alive.
That other
Just
side.
hanging on.
I mean, KJP's other sides have been pretty... I mean, most of the players' other sides, really, this entire tournament of Palomas, most players' other sides have been
Yes, it is.
immaculate.
Yeah.
Which I find really weird. Like, does no one play Xander in the Asia region?
Not as much, I would say.
Oh.
Yeah, mostly people play Paloma, Lucy, but mostly Paloma still.
Wow, okay, because I mean, North America and Europe, Xander really took over as a damage amplification tool. Like, Xander Jade
Yeah, I think
is
it's
a
just
huge combo.
Yeah, it's just a matter of the meta, I guess. Like, and plus Asia region isn't that populated to begin with. I think
okay.
so. The whole Xander meta hasn't taken over the Asia region yet.
Yeah, because the thing about Xander is that it tends to deal with Paloma because the amount of damage dealt is too much for Paloma's healing.
It's too much for. Yeah, that's true.
So it mostly took over where Paloma was, and then that opened up other healers to be used. So you don't see Paloma as much.
Yeah.
They're still used sometimes, but not like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, going in this, we did see, I mean, clarinet, they did take that first round. They took it basically just by finding the strong push against Devilish, and putting Devilish in a bad spot, and putting Pinky in a bad spot. And that's the way you tear apart Pinky Kimchi, is you have to split them up a little bit here and there.
Yeah, they're really strong as a core group, and when they're all three of them are stacked up together, it's really hard to break them.
I mean, that's what you expect from this level of team play. Although at the same time, we like I said, as soon as they're separated, it does work out, and that's exactly what Devilish is doing. Still going forward, despite the fact they do have what they have. But that pull was totally worth whatever health they might have lost.
Yes, clarinet is almost down. If they can get clarinet, I think it's a win for them this round for sure.
The Grimoire coming in, getting Pinky dead, or very nearly dead. Oh, that Zephyr!
Very nearly. Oh man,
that Zephyr almost saved him.
That turnaround though with the Grimoire and the in-cap.
That's been happening a fair bit
strong.
for... Yeah, I've noticed Yaanae has been able to pull that off quite often. Especially against... Like we saw it last time against Pinky Kimchi, between clarinet and Pinky Kimchi, that the fact that Taya does not have anything other than Tornado to avoid that does mean that it's quite easy to just drop it and put Pinky in a terrible position.
Yeah, I feel like the Taya pick is a bit odd because like she doesn't have a lot of escapes against something like Baku and Esmo. I was thinking like because Pinky can play Ashka, I feel like an Ashka could be better. That's what I feel at least. Because Taya only has a space bar. Yeah.
Yeah, and
her R of course.
And that's the thing is where Ashka has the wall, has Searing Flight, has Molten Fist. They have ways out of there, and they have more range too, so they can deal with the fact that their opponents are basically answering the highly aggressive composition, and the fact that they're clearly not going for as much as the Rukan was played. But
we'll see because there'll be a second map anyways, and
that's true.
Possibly,
that's very true.
So
at this point,
so maybe they might change it up a little bit.
You think they're gonna go for Ashka?
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Let's focus on this match first.
Yeah, well, naturally though, at this point, it's mainly just poking. It's really small positioning here and there, but no one's managed to find a whole lot of mileage. Nice pull on KJP, but ultimately, the damage is recovered. Yeah. It's like both teams playing it safe. There's an opening though. You fools finding some damage on the Devilish, finding a lot of Devilish. Ooh, that Grimoire not quite finding it. The in-cap got broken, so the Grimoire could not do his job completely. You fools got a little bit trigger happy on that. Still, though, Devilish has taken so much damage just from you fools' relentless aggression that at this point, Devilish should go down. There's no cooldowns left for 4 damage onto them. You fools is a bit done.
Yeah.
But
not
a
and
bad
there goes
setup.
Pinky.
Yeah, Pinky went down too, and that's 3 rounds in favor of clarinet. Pinky Kimchi has found nothing. Some close-ish rounds, but as soon as the momentum starts to shift over into clarinet's favor, it just becomes a win.
Yeah. Like the moment clarinet gets like a couple of orbs as well, it's just too one-sided with the ultimate and everything. They set up everything very nicely with the moment they have energy, and Baku has his in-cap spaces.
Yeah, that War Stomp. The War Stomp and the Grimoire combo they've been doing has been amazing. And on top of that, Yaanae does have the silence on their Chaos Grip, so they can just use that to set that up as well. This has been a very clean set of games from clarinet. They've got this down to a science.
Yeah, I think they've been practicing a lot as well over the couple of weeks, as far as I know.
Oh, very,
So
very
they
clearly.
definitely are. Yeah. And it seems like this Asmo Bako Paloma comp really works for them.
I mean, I'm just kind of curious. Like I said, we're seeing Youfool being much more forward this time around because they don't have to deal with the Sheaf in the back lines. This is where Youfools can be aggressive and be the disruptive character and be the one pushing, and that has been amazingly useful to make sure that there's just that Bako in there. That's just that position that keeps KJP nearly dead. And there's KJP down as a result of all the pressure coming in on top of the Grimoire just to finish it off. And even if KJP doesn't go down, they're still in a position where they cannot easily heal. Oh, and there they go! Yaanae taking them down, but getting cross-killed in the process. That is going to be a bit of a tough situation. Devilish might go down, but it doesn't even matter, though. Pinky taken out by a Blood Axe as Devilish forced to flee thanks to that panic.
Yeah. Youfool's playing a really fantastic game right now.
They've been just doing all the wall stuns. Like, this map has been perfect for how they've been able to just dash everything. That Bako buff, well, not so much buff, but essentially reversion of an earlier nerf, that has been absolutely crucial to Youfool's ability to take this match and make it their own.
Yeah, not to mention the damage output from the feedback, the new Battlerite for Ismo as well. I think he's got a couple of nice feedbacks off as well, and that immediately takes off like your whole max HP, like the 40 HP allowance, just with one shot. And I think it's pretty big as well, because it's quite hard for Paloma to deal with that kind of burst damage sometimes, especially without her pixie up.
I mean, that's the thing. Paloma is a chip healer. If burst damage happens, that's what stops it. That's why I mentioned Xander in the first place, is that as soon as you get that massive burst damage, anything over 40 in one shot, that will prevent her from doing much. And then anything more than that, well, she's healing 10 per hit. Well, that's only like 10, 15 every second. That's not that much.
It's not that much at all, yeah. Oh, so, there you go. The feedback, look at that, on kangjunpyo, and there goes. Half his health is gone.
Case in point. But at this point, though, it looks like the focus might actually be onto Yaanae to take them out in the first place. Devilish is trying to get them as best they can, but Youfool's making sure to make that peel happen. And as much as Yaanae is being pressured, there's Youfool's again. Youfool's just wants to make sure their teammate is staying alive. They are playing teammate Bako here. Ooh. And now Death Bako. The ultimate coming in, and that is the catalyst needed to keep Taya dead. So with that, Pinky's down, and it looks like it is going to be a 5-0 sweep for the first map for KarryNet in these grand finals of the Battlerite Asia number 4 tournament.
Yes. Well done, KarryNet. And Yaanae with those hooks as well, with the pool, with his mouse too. Oh man, just halfway across the back. Whoop, Taya's here. Kill him.
Pretty much. I like
fantastic. It. Yeah.
Yeah, those Chaos Grips have been... I mean, that's been a large part of it too, because I mean, I mentioned when they were fighting in the upper bracket finals that KarryNet's setup is designed to be a pull and designed to be basically a trap setup, and that works perfectly against Shifu. But when you don't have Shifu, you still have that pull.
Yeah, exactly.
So now we're going on.
I wonder what Devilish team can do to come back from this now.
Oh yeah,
they certainly need a different comp for sure. I think they definitely need a different comp. It's not even about the map anymore.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what we could see coming out from these players, because you were pointing out that Pinky could play the Ashika. And I mean, KJP is, as far as I recall, a fairly flexible player.
Yes, as far as I know, he can play Paloma, he can play Lucy, he can play pretty much Odor, he can play pretty much all the support champions, because he's like a support main kind of.
Yeah, that is super handy, because I feel like Paloma's gonna have a hard time here. Just the way that's been played. Clarinet and Yaanae together have been, I mean, Youfool's and Yaanae together, I should say, they've been able to burst out everything. Like,
usually in Clarinet's team. Yeah, KarryNet is usually the one shining in the team, but today it's Youfool's and Yaanae that's the shining one. Like, the ones that are shining.
Yeah. Although KarryNet was getting some aggro Paloma damage in there a few rounds, but for the most part, Yaanae is doing all the work. All the damage work, not all the work, but Yaanae and Youfool's are doing the main flashy work, and KarryNet is just keeping them alive.
Keeping them alive, yeah. To let them do that work.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the flashy work. It's not the main work. KarryNet's still doing a lot of the work. It's just, it's pretty background work. It's something people aren't going to be super excited about. but it's really good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true. All right, seems like they've started picking.
Yep, we have Palomatea.
And, oh, they're gonna stay with Taya. Oh man.
I
Well,
don't know. Maybe
I don't
can't
know.
imagine.
Yeah,
I can't imagine going for Shifu.
but that's the comp that they had earlier, right? In
That's
the,
the comp
upper
that got
finals.
bodied on.
Yeah. Unless maybe they have a different plan in mind, like a different tactic that they're gonna apply, but I don't know.
Neither do I. I mean, You Fools has the options to work with because they can do a bunch of stuff. I mean, they can throw in the... I mean, they can do what they were doing before, obviously, with the Esmo and Bako. Or they can go with Jade and Bako, or... I don't know what they changed, though. Plum Esmo Bako is working really well for them. And that's what they do.
Yep.
Plum Esmo Bako.
Yep, they're gonna stick with Isma. Yep. It makes sense. I mean, they've won the last 2 matches against Pinky Kimchi with that same comp. There's no reason for them to change now.
They've won the last 10 rounds against Pinky Kimchi with that comp. They've lost nothing.
Yep, the 10 rounds, yeah. And pretty easily too. Like there wasn't any challenge.
I seem to recall a couple rounds actually in their first match. I'm being slightly facetious. It was 5-2 in the grand finals. Sorry, in the upper bracket finals, it was 5-2. So it wasn't quite as lopsided as I make it out to be, but it was still a very strong setup, and it did make it difficult for Pinky Kimchi to deal with it because Pinky Kimchi, especially with the Shifu, Devilish has to not be highly aggressive, which they really want to be, but they can't be. No, doesn't work.
I think it could work. Like, I mean, maybe Shifu stays a little bit behind to peel, but the thing about Bako is that when Bako jumps in, you can't really stop him from jumping in and in-cap. It's not like you can just in-cap him before he in-caps you. He will just land on you, and there you go. Your whole team is in-capped.
Yeah, like the best thing you can do is, I mean, the only character that can deal with that is Jade, and that's only a trade.
She can jump at the right time.
Exactly. But other than that, no one else can really deal with that. And even then, that's still the in-cap happens. The Bako just gets stunned in return.
Yeah. And it's still not as big of a punish as the in-cap from Bako.
Exactly. Mind you, that's also costing meters, so there was that.
There is that, yeah. We'll have to see. Maybe they have a different trick up their sleeves. I mean, they are still like the top seeds in the tournament. Devilish, Pinky, and kangjunpyo. They are definitely, I would say, top 5 in the Asia region, if you ask me. That's my personal opinion.
That's what I've been seeing.
But,
I mean, but
I think the team play in Clarinet's team is just amazing in this tournament so far.
Yep. However, we are going to be on Dragon Day. That is the map of choice.
That's interesting.
Actually think this is going to go. Like, this actually could go well for Pinky Kimchi just because they are dealing with the Taya compared to the Esmo.
Yeah. A lot more space for her to run around and hopefully deal enough chip damage to bring down their max health.
Yeah, and a lot less space for the Bako to have a field day on the walls. So
yeah, that's true.
This is a place that I can see Pinky Kimchi why they picked. Like they're going to be having a fun time. Although, granted, Pinky isn't also going to be able to use the walls. They have that option.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they made their picks knowing that it would be Dragon Garden Day. So, maybe.
I don't think so, because how could you know that? You're assuming your opponents are not going to ban
it. That's true. But, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure.
Well, at any rate... Oh, boy. Wow, I'm sorry. At any rate, we have potentially the last match of these finals. I should probably make that very clear. We are not playing forever. There is, in fact, a win score. And the win score is now 1 in favor of clarinet.
Yes, 1-0. Can they take it? Or will we go to a third map?
Well...
That's the question.
It looks like, from just what we've seen from these teams and how they've played each other before, that clarinet will likely take it 2-0. But that's assuming no major adaptations with the same comp from Pinky Kimchi. At this point, we are seeing Pinky go forward first and Devilish go in the back lines. Nothing major different from before. And that's the thing. We aren't seeing any major changes from the previous way they played this. The map is a bit different, though. Like I said, more space to work with. But the walls are still useful. Devilish is still being taken out by incaps and by stuns.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there with Devilish's counter.
Oh, not just that, but also that Grimoire coming in on top of the incap. KJP is heavily damaged, and with that, it is going to be Devilish getting torn up because their healer is not nearby because KJP got taken out by that Grimoire, and that means the team is just not able to stick together.
Nope.
And
they're
that
just
is
being separated completely.
Yep. U-Fools has a cross-kill opportunity, though, and does get killed, but in return, we should see another kill onto Devilish, and that will likely secure it. The healer is still there for Carrynet, is not there for Pinky Kimchi.
Yes. Which is a very big deal.
I mean, when you don't... yeah, with a nutrition healer. Ooh, the Grimoire...
Could they turn it around?
Oh, maybe. Oh, it's going to be tricky.
Guess not.
Pinky might be able to get a good shot onto Yaanae.
It was close.
It was. Yeah, not the ultimate's not going to come out in time. So that is going to be one round in favor of Carrynet, but nowhere near as easy as it was previously.
Yeah. Definitely they're putting up a much better fight than the previous map. I mean Pinky Kimchi.
It's still, though...
But Yufu still managed to getting off those wall stuns and everything.
Well...
Even in Dragon Garden Day, yeah. Sorry.
What I saw there was that Devilish javelin into the wall and then got stunned out of it. So Devilish is going to be near walls just because their javelins require they hit walls if they don't hit enemies.
That's true.
The U-Fools can take full advantage of that. Now at this point, it's just a matter of now pure defense. Pinky Kimchi is scared to get into the center because of what happened last time. And even then, trying to get in the center carefully, they still get wall slammed. And still Devilish is separated from their team and still far enough away from kangjunpyo that they cannot be healed. But the orb is taken.
Blue team's got up. Yes. Well done there, Devilish.
Yeah, the one thing that is really a bit of a problem right now for Clarinet is that their HP is super low. Like, Clarinet managed to get back in their team, but they are kind of in an awkward position. A very nice soul transfer, by the way, onto Devilish. But even with that, Devilish is still being torn apart. And that's with Clarinet, who they've been doing a great job dealing with.
Is Clarinet down? Clarinet is down.
Clarinet's down.
That was a major pick.
First round of the grand finals likely going to Pinky Kimchi unless a really miracle cross-kill comes out, which seems unlikely. Yaanae's going for it hard, but not able to find it. Not in time.
So it's 1-1. Probably.
Very likely. Pinky Kimchi. I mean, that defensive play was exactly what I was saying in the upper bracket finals that I would have liked to see them do, and it really worked out. Despite the fact that there was some misgivings early on with the wall stuns, they were still able to slowly but surely pull in and actually able to bait U-Fools in and start damaging them while then splitting off Clarinet and getting Clarinet down to half HP.
Yeah, that was fantastic there. Because I think Clarinet has been mostly using her other sides on Tobacco to get him out after jumping in. So that means no other side for both Clarinet and Yaanae. And so, yeah, they managed to find the right opening to get Clarinet down in that previous round there.
Which is very smartly done. But at this point, we are seeing another aggressive opening, or partially aggressive opening. Much more aggressive than the last round coming out from Pinky Kimchi. And we know that aggressive openings from Pinky Kimchi do mean traps being sprung by Carrynet.
Yep.
Ooh, and that actually could be a trap sprung against Carrynet. U-Fools! That Zephyr combo. I mean, at this point, U-Fools is actually not in a great spot. It really is going to come down to what this pull's managing to do. And Pinky pulling forward with their team. Devilish getting that incap, but it's not quite enough as the damage coming in to break the incaps without too much damage on U-Fools does mean U-Fools should be able to still get Devilish in a bad enough spot that the frontliner for Pinky Kimchi is in a weaker position than the frontliners for Carrynet.
Yeah. Nice out control there as well from Pinky Kimchi. And they got both ops so far in this round, which is a big deal in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten the orbs very frequently in this grand final, in this particular grand finals map. I mean, I think we've really hit the nail on the head when it came to how Dragon Garden Day helps Pinky Kimchi out, helps Tay in particular out with the openness, and overall just makes it a lot easier for them to do their job. But you fools, you just see how much they had to walk to get that
clarinet.
wall stun.
Oh, that panic was huge. Otherwise, clarinet would have been dead by Devilish.
Yeah, that too. Is that the fact that now they have to be separated. Now, in order for you fools to do their work, they can't be as near to clarinet, and that just leaves clarinet so open to death.
Yeah.
And now the other side's been spent as
Pinky
well
is
as just
really
saved
low.
Yaanae.
Alright, gotta watch out for Pinky. Pinky is almost down as well. Oh,
not
that
a-
goes clarinet.
Yeah, can Pinky be the cross kill? That's the real question. Actually, yes, the answer is certainly yes. But 2v1 when you or 2v2 when you don't have a healer, doable but tricky with these HP values, especially since Devilish is going for the HP shards and will likely get them over the bottom side.
Yeah. Yep, they did it.
So at this point, I mean, Pinky Kimchi could be turning this around. They've gotten very likely 2 rounds to 1. Carrynet has been having a bit of a harder time maintaining the cohesion that's been serving them so well. And as a result,
Yeah.
it's becoming very difficult for Carrynet to make these rounds go in their favor.
Yeah. Do you think it's a map advantage? Could be because it's Dragon Day. Because
I
Taya
think
has a
it's
much
something.
easier time getting her mouse tools onto the op to secure it. And that might be the difference maker as well.
It's helping a lot. Not only that, the amount of work that you fools has to do and the amount of separation they have to have in order to get anything off the walls. I feel like you
Yeah.
fools just try, maybe focus on war stomps. I'd like to see them just focus on war stomps and not focus on wall slams unless the opportunity presents itself. Like, forcing wall slam opportunities just seems like a waste of teammate. It just
Yeah,
leaves
that's
Clarinet
true.
so vulnerable.
Just focus on getting the good in caps, basically.
Exactly. And it looks like we're not really sure what we're going to see on that. The walls, this is an opportunity for the wall slams, but nothing coming of it. Everything going wide, but the orb getting taken by Carrynet. So value was still had. Oh, however, we are seeing a bit of damage being dealt over to Yaanae. Devilish trying to go for that. I mean, really is a leapfrog on a clarinet, but it's still punished pretty heavily.
Yep. Devilish getting kinda low, almost.
Maybe, but at the same time, that you fool's body block, taking the orb, and allowing the
there's the
Grimoire to
Grimoire.
happen. Forcing the other side, though.
No one got hit.
No one got hit,
Forced
but
the
it
other
forced the
side,
other
yeah.
side. It did force a lot of escapes. That means that now there's actually a lot of follow-up. For the next 6 seconds or so, there's boatloads of follow-up available, and KJP is feeling the full brunt of it as they're now finally looking at the other side, but they already lost almost all of their HP before that other side came up.
Yeah. Oh, KJP is really low. Oh, the feedback.
Dead. The
feedback.
Exactly what you were talking
Oh,
about
man.
earlier. That feedback taking this round. So evening things up,
Yeah.
and that is Carrynet 2-2. Well, the
2-2.
game overall 2-2.
Very likely 2-2.
Very likely. Ooh, Yaanae might actually get cross-killed. Let's not throw...
They still managed to get up.
They did. I mean, that's the thing. That's another feedback coming in there, getting Pinky. But Yaanae, man, if they get touched, and they do, they're done. Still, though, the HP advantage and healing advantage is in favor of Carrynet. So
Yes.
it's unlikely
very much
that...
in favor of them.
Yeah, okay, this is over. So,
No. Yeah.
still, I mean, that was a bit closer, but it looked like overall Carrynet just had... I mean, they put the position... They put KJP in an awkward position from the start.
Yeah. I think they definitely got off a few nice in caps as well. I mean, by UFOs this round. I think he's getting back his mojo and hitting those wall stomps really nicely in this round, which made a big difference, I think.
They did without really sacrificing their team either, and that was the key thing to me. Also, the orb.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that the orbs were more even, Carrynet was actually managing to get that meter and get that HP back. Like, the
Yeah,
round before that was 5-1 in favor of Pinky
Yeah.
Kimchi.
That's true. Like the very first op that spawned in the previous round, it was like the blue team was just sloppy. I think they weren't ready for it, I think. And so
No,
red team just took it
no.
quite easily.
But the second one was you fools coming in and body blocking. That was just a really clever play from you fools.
Yeah.
It was really aware play from you fools. And that Valiant Leap coming in there, just dealing the extra bits of damage on everyone, making it even harder to maintain the HP. But the orb going in favor of Pinky Kimchi, of course, meaning that Pinky Kimchi maintains that HP despite the fact that they lost much of it. Although the separation over to the south, just look at the way that both
man.
KJP and Pinky are being torn apart.
Yeah, just by Bako alone.
Just by Bako alone. I mean, at this point, Pinky and KJP both managing to get a little out of there and managing to get the orb, but the amount of damage it took, the amount of health they lost in the meantime, they're not even anywhere near parity. It's still about half the opponent's HP. And one more
this
hit.
Is rough.
Yeah, Pinky gets touched, they're dead. And there's that touch. They are dead. Their opponent's almost full HP, and Clarinet is holding their own in a 2v1. And very nearly killing KJP in the process.
So I'm still surprised that they're going with the Taya pick and not something like Ashka. Like, if it was Ashka, that first jump by Ufools at the start, he could have just avoided that very easily and not like take so much damage at the start.
Yeah, and then later, the one near the end where they were stuck in the bottom, that would have been a Molten Chains. Petrify Bako and get out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, 3-2 in favor of Carrynet. 2 more rounds and they have this. 3 more rounds for Pinky Kimchi, and they bring it back even. But the way this is working so far, Carrynet does seem to have a strong advantage. They get the orbs. If they're even within 1 orb disadvantage, they're at an advantage.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Pinky Kimchi has to like get every single orb to have the advantage over them, I think.
That's what we've seen
Even
so
though
far.
the map is probably in favor of Kimchi. Even though the map is in favor of Kimchi, I think.
Yeah, but no one. How often do you think they'd scrim on Dragon Garden Day?
I'm not too sure, because, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, very nice reflect there by Bako.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that from Ufools early on. I'm glad we're seeing a bit more of that again. Like those reflects in particular against Devilish. Devilish has adapted them quite well, but at this point, Devilish, it doesn't even matter for all the damage they're taking and how much Ufools is essentially able to get away with this scot-free.
Yeah,
Devilish.
And the advantage in this round.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, the advantage in this round is still definitely in Carynet's favor.
Oh, with that Grimoire. The Grimoire forcing the ultimates to get out of there, let alone to live. Not managing to get a whole lot of value out of it. I mean, Yaanae got damaged a fair bit by the companion called Boomerangs, but at the same time, Devilish is so out of position that they can get trapped. They have nothing left. Their Kunji should be up in a second, but even then, they've taken so much damage that it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, Devilish is not doing so well. A lot of escapes actually wasted on Devilish
They
because
just
of
Tempest rushed to Kunju. That was not ideal. They must be tired.
Oh, Yaanae is pretty low.
Yaanae is low, but that Grimoire, again, providing the space they need. Ooh, but that tendon swing. That tendon swing
Yaanae.
opening things up.
Yeah, that was a fantastic tendon swing.
I mean, there's room for a cross kill. The orb does go again to Carrynet. 3-1 orb.
Clarinet's almost dead, and there we go.
Yeah, with Clarinet down, the cross kill
3-3.
potential is there. If both Pinky and
Could
Devilish go
Ufools get
down
it out
quickly.
off? Oh.
That would have been super. I don't think it would have been
close.
close enough, though. I think that's like Pinky probably would have still gone down afterwards, but it was.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of cool.
It
Pinky
would be
surviving
kinda
himself
cool.
with 1 HP,
Just a little bit of a consolation. Consolation prize.
but no. Yeah.
But no, yeah. 3-3 it is. Oh man.
Oh, okay.
Down
So
to
also
it.
there is a bracket reset. If Pinky Kimchi happens to win the next 2 maps, we have another BO3 afterwards.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
glad you're here.
Oh yeah. There. Yeah. Not doing this alone anymore.
Yeah. So it could be 2 rounds. It could be 17 rounds. Or not 17 rounds. Sorry, I'm miscounting. 20 rounds. No,
yes,
wait. No, I'm miscounting again. 29 rounds.
Well, it depends how many they win.
Yeah, because if they win this one,
Yeah.
then it's... Oh, no, it's even more than that. No, it's
Even
37
more than
rounds.
that, yeah.
38 rounds. Potentially. Somewhere between 2 and 38 rounds.
Yeah.
That's what's left.
That's right.
This is... I mean, at the same time, though, we are seeing Ufools managing to get their value they got before. Yaanae's getting the value as well. Devilish has no escapes left, and isn't really managing to get much follow-up off their tendon swing. It's a lot of meter, a lot of cooldown, and that
Oh, there's
Grimoire
the Grimoire.
has nothing really stopping except the other side and
Force the other
Tornado
side.
as well. So the follow-ups
Yeah.
can come in.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
some nice burst
done.
on the orb.
Was nice person orb. At least
still in this, I think.
Yeah, Pinky Kimchi managing to at least hold on for now, and there should be an Ancestral Spirit coming up fairly shortly. But I'm not even sure if that's going to be used for escapes when this happens here, and Grimoire not managing to find what it needs, but it almost doesn't matter. The amount of damage that it could deal, the amount of damage that's dealt from the feedback afterwards is still enough. As long, though, as we don't see a death from You Fools. If You Fools dies, it's over.
Yeah, pretty much. Another thing that we didn't mention there was that Taya used the ult, but she was immediately shut down by Bako. So very nice play there by You Fools. Not letting her get that value out of ultimate.
Yeah, You Fools, however, speaking of them, they are very nearly dead. Pinky, however, in a bit of a bad spot. KJP forced to get tornadoed out of there. Pinky, however, was able to walk out, but that's... Yeah, just barely. In this point...
Just barely. Yeah.
But that's the same of You Fools as well. Oh. No, not just barely anymore. Pinky does go down, and that opens everything up. Now that little bit of devilish swing there, that smack into the bulwark, that is going to be pretty much the setup for death. With the orb being taken by You Fools, they've got their
If they
HP
can
back.
take down You Fools, they might have a chance, but it's really slim. Oh,
not anymore. Not when losing their healers makes that impossible. And now we have tournament point for KarryNet. They have one more round. They win this in one round.
One more round.
Pinky Kimchi wins this in 20 rounds. Sorry, well,
so will KarryNet
12
be our
rounds.
next champion?
But
yeah.
Pinky Kimchi needs to win 12 rounds to win. They need to win 17 rounds.
No, then the bracket
to win.
reset.
Yeah, the bracket resets.
Yeah.
They have to win 17 rounds to win. Then KarryNet has to win 1.
Yes.
So really, this is it. If KarryNet takes this, then they win the tournament. And at this point, it's very clear Pinky Kimchi knows that they're playing super safe, just staying out of the center entirely, trying to bait out M2s, trying to bait out the Chaos Bolts. Now that that's happened, a bit of an approach, and Devilish going in there. Nice read on the Spirit Rift. Kind of predictable timing. And
KarryNet got the orb.
Ooh, they did. Yeah, KarryNet did manage to get that orb. Yeah. So at this point, that damage is pretty much permanent. I think that's going to be the game-winning thing, especially after that War Stomp on the south there.
Exactly.
That was perfect. The openings that are provided there by that orb are... That's it. That is going to be a very difficult level.
Esmo's got his ult. Esmo's got his ult.
And Esmo gets the ult with nothing.
Nothing. They still have a chance. Kimchi, come on, Kimchi.
Well, it's going to be tricky. Devilish can't be super aggressive right now because if they are, they have no way out. They have their fleet foot up. They have their Kunju for another 3 seconds. Their Kunju is going to be back up. But it's just, even then, their Kunju will be up after this. Like, once they get out of the stun, they'll probably Kunju just to get out of any dodge. But it's not quite enough if they don't get the orb, and they don't get the orb. And that's the thing. They have 3 orbs for KarryNet.
Yeah, not even a single orb.
Ooh, and the bulwark. Ooh, so in between KJP and the bulwark onto Pinky, this is over. Map separated, 2v1, 1v1s.
There we go. KarryNet, our champions, unless Devilish somehow gets a 3v1 or 1v3. That's very unlikely.
Yeah. Not since Tempest Rush nerf.
Nope.
Well, that was pretty good though. I mean, it's clear that KarryNet has pretty well provided a bit of a new perspective into Asian meta, and I expect that we'll see in the next Asian tournament. Probably Xander, actually, if people pick up what I was saying and just run with it and see what happens.
We'll see.
That'd be kind of neat.
There are a couple of us practicing on Xander, but nothing major so far. But anyways, KarryNet is our champion. Yes?
KarryNet is our champion. Well done, KarryNet. Congratulations, you have won the Battlerite Asia 4 tournament. Each of you goes home with $45 and about 4 gold chests and a scorpion chest. On the other hand,
that's right.
Pinky Kimchi.
Per player.
Yeah, per player. Pinky Kimchi, on the other hand, $18 per player with 2 gold chests per player. And lest we forget our 3rd and 4th place members, we do have Anwi's chest hair. There we going, $9 each with a gold chest as well, each. And Steakhouse just gets 1 gold chest apiece for getting 4th place.
That's right.
So well done. Thank you everyone for signing up. Thank you very much, Shill, for helping me out in the last couple of rounds here.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Maps. That was fun. I hope I didn't stop you too much.
No, it's fine. I really needed to have the space. It's nice to have
alright.
someone to bounce off of and not have to speak every single second. So yeah, thank you everyone as well for watching. And of course, these tournaments usually happen once every couple months or so. And there's the Battlerite Asia Discord. I'm not sure the link is off of that, but it should be on the Twitch channel, I would imagine. Actually, I could double check that right now.
Pretty sure, yeah. I think Anui is onto that, and he's like posting all the links, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is the only thing, in fact, on the Twitch channel, other than the video player itself, is the Discord link. So you can go there, you can get ideas. So if you're in the Asian region, which I believe only is continental, I don't believe it counts Oceania or like Indonesia or is like that, but it might. I'm not sure. You might know.
I think it actually encompasses Indonesia as well. And
okay.
Yeah.
Does it go all the way to Australia, or just
sure
like Indonesia and Singapore, and that's it?
There are some Australians in here.
Okay.
But so I'm not sure if they have their own Discord.
Well, yeah, Oceania is kind of a separate region. But anyway, if you're close enough that the ping isn't too bad, Asian tournaments happen every couple months or so. You can go to the Discord. There'll be announcements there when they happen. And of course, follow the channel here for Battlerite Asia to see them when they happen. And also, you can follow Chill. Chill, where can we follow you? You have twitch.tv/chill.
Yeah, twitch.tv/chill. Yeah.
And you also have
YouTube if you want.
Yep.
Yeah, youtube.com/chillgaming.
Yeah, you do various analysis videos, right?
Mostly guides. I don't do a lot of analysis videos. Just mostly champion guides. Okay. Just general guides. Yeah, those kind of thing.
So yeah, if you wanted to learn more how to play your champions better or how to play a new champion you never tried before, go check out Chill Gaming on YouTube. As for me, I am ShadowFury333 on YouTube, though most of my YouTube stuff is not Battlerite, it's for a different game. Most of my Battlerite stuff is either on Twitch, which twitch.tv/DominicCasts, where I talk about when I'm doing tournaments for Rival Esports or Battlerite Asia or other organizations, at my twitter.com/DominicCasts. And if I'm doing anything, I will announce it there. So if you want to hear more Battlerite stuff from me, that's where you'll find out about it. Anyway, that is going to be it for tonight. Again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for playing. I'm very glad to see as many people in this tournament as we saw. And the play we saw was very skilled. So I'm very impressed. I'm happy to have watched it. Happy to have casted it. Happy to have had you along, Chill.
Yeah, thank you.
With that, we say good night. So, again, thanks for watching. And have a good night, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye. Is that it?